Hello.
Hello.
Hey
Good
guys.
evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
What are you doing tonight?
Hello.
Very, very well. Hello.
Hey guys.
Good evening, gentlemen.
DJ's back in the land of the living.
And by living, he means the land of Xbox Live, so yes.
So, Shadow, did you ever figure out how you ended up on separate teams in Trials of Osiris?
Nope.
Oh, I've seen videos of that happening before,
No clue.
where you just spawn on the enemy team.
Well, like it was just our team, and then we got split up, and there was two of us on one team, and then one of us on the other team.
Yeah.
And like we didn't have anyone else in the game. It was just us three. It was like,
That is weird.
You broke the game.
nah, we did.
No. Feature. Working as intended.
Feature.
Bungie, yeah.
Their mantra.
Bungo, working as intended.
It's really cool.
Oh, you're asking what I got? I got the Cloak of Protection.
You got the cloak of protection.
Yeah, Riven got the Displacement Cloak.
I thought. Trying to figure that out. I'm like, I don't know who got what. It really annoys me when I can't figure the fuck out. I'm like, God damn it.
I wrote it as soon as I got all my stuff.
I was just doing everything like all of a sudden tonight, so I was super plan mode today. I streamed for 7 hours this morning. I'm really tired.
Good lord, man.
Mithril scale went to Salix.
Yeah, I think I have everyone else. I think I remembered everybody where everyone is at. I just was trying to figure out who to chuck stuff at. So you got the so Riven got this thing into placement. So give that to him. Save changes. Show players, and I will change the Cloak of Protection to you. That way you has it in your inventory.
Is that on which site, if you don't mind me asking?
Roll20. Everything's on Roll20. Like it's actually in your inventory. Like you now have it in your journal that shows like, oh, this is in your inventory.
Oh,
Yep.
Make sure you read the stuff correctly as well, because some of it is different. Acquire. Attunement. And and in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be trying to find a way so that I can start playing music, like the music I have and I'm playing through Skype.
Unhappy with the Roll20 audio?
I don't like the lack of stuff I can find on there.
Oh, okay. It's
'Cause,
very limited.
like, it's very limited, and it's all like off of SoundCloud, and it's like some of it is just like not what I want to use. So, and I'm also trying to figure out a different way to a different format for my D&D streams, so it's not just looking at Roll20. It's like actually a little bit more interactive, but that's going to require more work on my end.
Anyone heard from Riven?
Yes, I did. He is not going to be able to make it tonight, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm not surprised. He's got a lot going on with work.
I was going to say, yeah, from what I've heard, he's got a lot going on with work. I'm surprised he was able to find time to let me know what was going on or what he was wanting to do with with Riven a little bit. Tyrion, since you were not here and I didn't get a chance to touch base with you, I'll go over some of the stuff that was available in Sam's shop,
Okay.
Sorcery Emporium. If you're interested in it,
I am indeed. Sorcery Emporium, eh?
Sam's Sorcery Emporium.
Alright, I'm a big fan of alliteration.
Sam's Spectacular Sorcery
Ooh,
Emporium. There was
even
an extra
better.
S in there. Okay, so within there, she had Armor and some different armor and clothing, some different miscellaneous items. You guys picked up a bag of holding, and you also picked up an unending rope.
Yep, I heard about those. Rhino did give me a bit of a update, but that actually is pretty much the entirety of the update that I got. So.
She also gave you. She also had potions that were available for sale as well. And she also had some rings and some weapons available as well. So,
okay.
What is interesting you?
Rings and weapons. Give me a breakdown. Give me the lowdown.
Rings and weapons. She has 2 rings of +1 protection. You already have one.
I already have one of those.
You already have one equipped to one of your hands at this moment in time.
Alright, so can I wear like 10 rings on each finger?
You can do 2 rings. You can do 2 rings, one will take up each hand slot.
Yo, I want to be like blinging out, man. I want to be like Elf Pimp. I want like at least 2 rings on each digit. That includes toes.
Interesting.
Okay, so one on each toe.
You'll just stand there and just.
How much are the rings of protection?
Rings of +1 protection are 550 gold each.
Jesus.
There's a ring of there's 3 rings of mind shielding available for sale, each of which are 200 gold. There is a single ring of jumping, which is available for 230 gold. A ring of cold resistance, or she has 2 of those that are available for sale, and those are 530 apiece. And 1 ring of spell storing for 760 gold.
Interesting.
Is the rings she has. The weapons she has is a dagger of venom for 625 gold, a mace of disruption, which I have not put a price on for some odd reason.
Does that mean it's free?
No.
Salix, you should get on that.
A staff of fire, a staff of swarming insects, a staff of the python, a sunblade, and a vicious short sword.
Tell me about this Sunblade.
What'd you come on?
The Mace of Disruption. That's what he was telling you to grab. We're working on something for that, by the way. So, Salix, in case you were, I don't know if I got back to you on that.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
I was trying to get back to you. Okay, so the Sunblade, where did that go? Is okay. This item appears to be a longsword hilt. When you grasp the hilt, you gain a bonus action to cause a blade, or you can use a bonus action to cause a blade of pure radiance to spring into existence, or make the blade disappear. When the blade exists, this magic longsword has the finesse property. If you're proficient with short swords or long swords, you are proficient with the Sunblade.
Okay, so it just has the finesse property, no other.
It would deal radiant damage rather than piercing or slashing.
Okay. As awesome as that sounds, I think I'm gonna pass on that.
Okay.
So technically, I'd be able to use that?
Yeah, if you have proficiency with short swords or long swords.
Yeah,
I do have proficiency with short swords, so I could technically be using a long sword.
And finesse weapons would be great for you because that's all agility. Right, that's what the finesse weapon means. You can use your agility instead of your strength.
I believe so. Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
Or you use your dexterity. You would use your dexterity modifier.
That's what I meant by agility.
What damage does that do then? Just like regular longsword
It'd
damage?
be regular long. It'd be like.
I think so. It's like 1d10 plus whatever.
Yeah, longswords are. What are they? Longswords are 1d8 slashing. So it'd probably end up turning into like it would be like a probably a 1d8 plus then like 2 or something like that.
Okay. I am actually rather interested in that.
How much gold do you have left?
Well, that's
you spent a lot last week.
I'm gonna have to come back for that if I'm gonna be able to get it at all. How much does it cost?
2,200 gold pieces.
Oh, that's it. I'll just pick that up now then. I mean, you know what? Give me 5 of them. Let's just load up on this.
Wait, did you say 2,000 that sword costs?
Yep.
Oh, no thank you. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna pass. I mean, that thing is badass, do not get me wrong. That sounds badass, but
Oh, hold on, there was more. I didn't finish reading it.
Oh.
You gain +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon, which deal radiant damage instead of slashing damage. When you hit an undead with it, the target takes an extra 1d8 of radiant damage. The sword's luminous blade emits bright light in a 15-foot radius and dim light for an additional 15 outside of that. The light is sunlight. While the blade persists, you can use an action to expend or reduce its radius of bright and dim light by 5 feet each to a maximum of 30 feet each, or a minimum of 10 feet each.
Holy shit.
So it does a lot more than just
I want that.
And it's,
yeah, I want that too.
So for 2,200, that's a pretty damn good price.
2,200. Oh,
And you know,
shit.
there are those zombies back in that dwarf ruin, right? You know?
Oh, I'm sure that they rotted away by now. It's been a while.
Well, the town guard probably, definitely, maybe did not take care of them.
Or the town guard is now itself populated by zombies, I think is the more likely outcome of that scenario. Shit, hold on. All right, I have to go find how much gold I have. 1 second.
It's okay. I'll have even if you buy it, I'll have to write up the thingamajig, so it'll take a minute or two.
Because I'm seriously considering it.
Oh god. Partesh, holy crap! I'm sorry, I'm missing chat, guys. My bad. Show us the game screen. Am I the dungeon master? I am the dungeon master. Yes. I'm just catching up on chat. I'm sorry, Partesh, I missed that. My bad, dude. I did not have everything set up the way I normally have it set up.
You is streaming tonight?
I is streaming tonight. Last week was just a ton of RP, and I was exhausted last week. I'm exhausted today, but I am nowhere near as tired as I was last week. So stream is up and going.
Okay, good lord, that would that would leave me almost penniless.
It's okay. I think Karma is penniless after last week.
I have
after last
silver
week,
and I think 10 gold.
Yeah, he's pretty hurting for gold right now.
I'm pretty sure that would leave me with like 20. My handwriting's terrible, so that would either leave me with nothing or 20 gold, depending on what.
Interesting.
I'm sure if you.
So I'm just gonna trust in the sword that has served me well for now, and hopefully find some bargains down the road. Because I can already do radiant damage if I want to, so that as much as I want to buy a shiny sword to go with my magic shield,
you would be just buying the hilt, and then once you activated it, basically
that's what I mean. Like, it's a D&D lightsaber to go with my magic self-shielding shield, which I want very much, but I'm going to be financially prudent and not do that, as much as it breaks my heart.
And as soon as we get into combat tonight, it's going to be all undead.
That's fine. I'm a paladin, man. If I couldn't fuck up undead without a holy sword, I'd be a pretty bad paladin.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I can just make my sword holy. Just will it to be holy.
It'd be hot. That's what it would be. Just so you're aware, Bag of Holding has an interior space considerably larger than the outside dimensions. It's roughly 2 feet in diameter at the mouth and 4 feet deep. The bag can hold 500 pounds, not exceeding the volume of a 64 cubit. Which basically think Hermione's like, pouch, and that's basically what you do. You stick your hand in it, things present itself to you, you grab it, what you're expecting, and you pull it out. That's what a bag of holding is.
You'll also find the contents of the bag of holding are linked on the resources page.
Yep.
Most excellent.
God, this breeze feels fantastic. It's like 50 something down here. Feels really nice.
That's a little chillier here.
Yeah. It was
It's
pouring
a
cats
frigid
and dogs this morning here.
82 out right now.
Oh, go fuck yourself, mister. I live in the driest.
Alright.
I do live in the desert.
So, where we left off, Clarissa, your tiara is not quite ready yet.
Yo, you bought a tiara?
She's working on it.
Dope.
Is not quite ready yet.
What kind of tiara?
You were able to pick up the stone and the actual tiara portion of itself, but it is currently just the stone placed within the tiara. No, not the enchanted version of it yet.
Okay. So can we assume that I've left it with Sam to do the infusion? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we can assume that you have left it with Sam. She is working on the enchantment. She notifies you that the enchanting process does take quite a long time. And it will probably be about 3 more days just for the enchanting of this specific main thing that you want in order for the spell to really take effect to it and really to like bind to all the material in there.
All right, cool.
So, I should pull up my also have thing. Where the fuck you guys are at this entire time? Okay, so where we were, what happened last week? Last week we finally got to our capital city of Eros within this country of Zebros. I'm going to switch over to our relaunch name so that everyone can see relatively where we started from. Our group started over here in Loudwater and eventually traveled through this countryside, fighting off multiple enemies and multiple things that were going off and that were attacking them, and all in pursuit of a band of what they had found out to be called a band of bandits named the Najaran Snakes, who have been kidnapping children from this area. They eventually found a portion of them, and the children were being transported to Eros, to a large, what looked like kind of shantytown city with a very, very large white marble castle or citadel in the back, or like in the middle of it. All throughout, eventually they make it down to a city called Dawncal, and find passage via horses and different things, all the way to the capital city of Eros. Last week, what our adventuring group was able to do was they entered the city of Eros. Were led by Lady Moonfire's niece and their now adventuring companion Brea. Throughout the city and the Yolamp district of which is kind of like the main bazaar, the main place to buy really anything. It spans a good fourth of the city that they've seen so far. They were led through the Yolamp district down to a place called Rana's Grove, which is a very green, very lush area where what appears to be the higher class of the city lives, or the higher middle class of the city lives. Outside of what they've learned is the Cloudtop district, where apparently which is where the Emperor and the Council and some of the other high-ranking members of society live within this area. So upon getting to the Voxereth family estate, they are greeted by the Voxereth manservant Maximus, and
damn it, I was hoping you were going to say Jeeves.
and are introduced to the Lady Voxereth, Liliana Voxereth is who they are introduced to. I don't know if I actually have her stuff written up in my notes or not yet. Apparently I don't. Oh god. Written notes, fantastic. One of these days I'll make the switch completely over to, digital. One of these days. They meet, Liliana Voxereth is who they meet. They find her to be in very, very poor health, and aging a lot faster than a woman of her age should be. She is approximately 49 years old, and she looks to be well into her mid-80s at this point in time. The party also meets a cream white tiefling named Eka, who is the caretaker of the younger children of the house, the twins Jackson and Jacqueline, and the baby little lady Sinclair is who they meet as well. Although as the party continued throughout their last week's adventure, they were able to meet and go to the owner of this wonderful shop called Sam's Spectacular Sorcery Emporium. Sam's Spectacular Sorcery Emporium. I'm gonna know how to say that by the end of one of these days. A very elaborate woman who dressed a lot in pink and seems to be obsessed with that color. She was able to sell to them a few items of which are very, very good and very magical properties, which will hopefully serve them well into the future, giving them a bit of a discount for just the amount of money they were spending on these items. After that, the party did a little bit more shopping around. Karma went off on his own to the Graveyard District. A lower end of town, not necessarily a lower end, but more of like a middle class end, a more kind of like shadier portion of town, where he found the found a Thieves' Cant sign or symbol on the side of a building that just said the word "enter." He entered into the tavern that was there, and talked with a red-skinned tiefling bartender.
Why didn't I ever ask names? I'm bad at asking names.
You're really bad at it. Almost had his purse snatched by a young lad named Roman, and
all 10 gold.
Left a note with them, checking to see if they would help him locate the Najaran snakes, making it ridiculously obvious that he had no interest in what the Thieves Guild was actually doing or what they were intending to do within the city. While Salix and your captive Simon, who has become within the passing weeks very devout and very has been continuously trying to learn more about the religion of Helm and the devotion to him. He went, Salix, and Tyrion all went to the Temple District, finding and seeing the great cathedral to Bahamut. That is the main area within the middle of this city.
I must have been blackout drunk because I have no memory of that.
It's okay. It's a large cylindrical.
Oh, that's elvish wine.
It was a large cylindrical, kind of almost pyramid shape, temple or cathedral with the statue of a giant metallic dragon, which you take to be Bahamut.
Sweet.
Either perched around it with its tail circling the entire thing, almost in a staircase fashion. And as you looked upon, you saw individuals walking up and down this staircase that was his tail. Quite a very spectacular thing. They found the Temple of Helm, and Simon was able to begin talking and continuing to talk with other individuals there about it, talking to some acolytes and some younger individuals within that temple. Salix found out and was talking to the main bearer of the temple, and was able to shed some light on what had happened down in his hometown.
Watchpoint.
Thank you, Watchpoint. I knew it started with a W. I was close. Started with Watchpoint, and was able to give some information there. After all of their shopping and all their other business was done, the individuals and the rest of the individuals met back up at the Voxerith family house, where they awaited Brea, or where they were awaiting Brea in the middle of the day to come back from wherever she had run off to, and what other business she had at that day. And this is where we pick up this evening.
We didn't get to aren't Clarissa, Emerald, and Riven at the college or something?
No, they did not make it to the college last week.
Nope.
No, we did not.
But
make
we are
it at all.
we are at that time, I think.
You guys met back up like it's like approaching midday at this point of your second day within Eros, and so you guys are meeting back up at. You guys had decided to meet back up at the Voxerith family estate because the Mages College was closer to Brea's or the Voxerith home than just spreading out throughout the rest of the city.
Okay.
So, that is where you guys are at this evening.
That was a rather productive day of shopping. I look forward to having my tiara completed. Tyrion, you look much more coherent than you did yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday was weird. I went into one of my elf trances, and I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I saw a giant shiny dragon at some point, so that was cool.
There's a very large statue of Bahamut in the temple.
Yeah,
it's like it crawls up and around the cathedral.
Yeah, out of roleplay, I saw the Mural tag me in chat with a picture, so very impressive. But I'm back. What's happening, guys? What's the game plan?
Well, has Karma returned?
Karma has returned at this point, yeah.
Even if he did, we probably wouldn't see him. He's very stealthy.
How does that go?
So we're all together at this point. I'm gonna approach everybody and be like, hey guys, so I tried to track down the Thieves Guild. I think I know where they are. From what I've heard, there's no snakes in town. They were ran out of town by the Thieves Guild, by the sounds of it. I'm trying to make contact with them to find out for sure, but I'll let you guys know when or if I hear anything back.
Did you get a chance to ask about the building and maybe if they know the location?
Well, I've been looking around, and I had to talk to Lady Brea. I keep on saying Lady Brea, just Brea. Sorry about that, Brea.
She's not with you at the moment.
Oh, she's not. Okay, so I talked with Brea about it, and she said that she knows of nowhere in town where there might be a building like that, and she's been here for most of her life. So doesn't sound like there's the big white marble building here in town, so I might check out. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna check with the Thieves Guild, see if I can learn anything more. If you guys have any other ideas, share them. Let's figure this out.
I would offer help with that, but it's not really my forte.
Yeah, I was saying more outside of, obviously you guys won't be able to help out much with the guild, but if you could think of any other avenues of investigation.
Well, I have a couple ideas. The obvious one is when we go visit the Mages College tomorrow, I can ask around among the staff. Maybe one of them will know. It's like a magically significant site or whatever. The other thing we could do is I imagine that Eros's military forces have quite detailed records of the surrounding area. Maybe if we could talk to somebody from the guard or the if there are any nightly orders in that, perhaps.
Which I should be able to secure an audience with them if need be.
You also remember during some of your conversations last week, just kind of out of character and also slightly in character, that Brea had mentioned that if anyone did have any information on plans of the city or anything along those lines, it would be
Guardian Tolskin, the Master of Defense.
It would be Guardian Tolskin, the Master of Defense. Yes.
Well, yeah, we could also talk to him. Because I believe
I think we could just get an audience with him.
Meryl, do you think that'd be possible?
I might be able to, but that is a big maybe.
Well,
as my political status is kind of questioned.
Oh, good point. Maybe it's not worth risking your. You are wanted.
Right, you don't want to blow your cover and get us all kicked out before we can make any headway here.
How much pull does the Voxereth name have in the high political society? Could perhaps Brea arrange a meeting with us?
I mean, I'd imagine at least in this city, probably a good...
She seemed skeptical about it when we asked her yesterday.
Well, the primary Voxereth
I don't remember that.
Isn't even in this city, it's in Plona.
Yeah, and that's where her father is now, as he's in Plona as well, so...
I mean, I could try to secure an audience with him, acting as what's the word I'm looking for? Consultant from Gadget Peak. We do sell and craft the kind of defense crystals that would be useful to a city on this scale.
That could work.
That could work. I mean,
and I could perhaps return to the library at the Temple of Helm, or visit the one at Temple of Bahamut. There's some more things I wanted to check out there, and maybe perhaps the Temple of Bahamut is the largest temple in the city. Perhaps they know something. I'm sure they do.
All right.
I thought of possibly going to the gardens and seeing if there's any druids around as well.
I might as well go to the gardens too. If there are gardens, there's usually trees there. I like trees.
That's true. He does like trees.
Also, ladies here.
I don't really have any influence or anyone I would talk to. I don't have any contacts in this city or anything like that. So,
as you're talking, Brea walks in to the main sitting room in which you guys have been sitting, or the sitting room in the West Wing that you guys have been sitting in, conversing, and looks relatively frazzled and frustrated a little bit over some interesting thing, just over some stuff. But she says, as she walks in, she says, glad you've all made your way back here. I was getting a little worried. I hadn't heard from many of you since this morning. But glad to see you've all made it back. So, what are you thinking in order to progress finding this marble citadel, the citadel?
Well, I actually went to one of the shadier areas of town seeking information on the snakes in general. It sounds like if they ever were here in town, they might be gone. I am checking with a couple sources to see if I can find anything else on that. If you know anybody that we could potentially talk to, much appreciated.
This begs the question that if the snakes are actually gone, who were the snakes that Shlasari transferring their cargo to? We saw, or Ryven and who else saw through the portal? They saw the Lady of Shadows.
Myself.
We have a bit of a history with her, and some other man that we did not recognize.
I was gonna say, don't you guys have a letter of some sorts?
We have a couple scraps that we picked up from in Loudwater. Let's see, I have them here in my pocket. One of them said, "Save us, please. We are being sold as slaves to the Snakemen. They say they are bringing us to Air." So the Snakemen are obviously the Naxxaran snakes, and Eros being, or Air being Eros. And we found another letter that said, "My dear lady, the last shipment you sent were wonderfully enjoyable. I look forward to your next shipment and hearing their screams echo through the streets of Plona. My employer has been pleased with your services and requests your presence in Plona to discuss the future of our business. Sincerely, the Butcher."
Could that be that what we seen was Polona besides Eros, and we were just misplaced?
Through the portal, we saw Plona.
Plona doesn't have a white citadel, at least not to the best of my knowledge, and I've made some trips there with Father throughout the time that he wanted me to have a more active role in his company.
And after speaking with Simon, and I'm fairly certain he was confident when he was saying that the portal in the bottom of Shlasari, as far as he knows, only connected to Eros. It's the only place that they would ever move cargo through.
Okay.
What if the portal just connected to like a magical waypoint in Eros and the actual end destination was somewhere else? What if Eros is just like a transfer destination?
There's a knock. There's a knock on one of the one of the sides of the archway that leads back to the main hall, and Maximus is standing there. Lady Brea, I have a letter here from Miss Maya. She has been was expecting you at the college earlier today, and is sad to say that she missed you. She looks forward to either seeing you. She says that she is able to either meet with you later today or tomorrow at your earliest convenience. Although she is quite busy with the entrance exams for the Mages College, so sooner would probably be better. Is her preference.
Clarissa almost comically smacks her head. Oh, I forgot.
Thank you. Rhea says, looks down at Clarissa face palming and just says, "Thank you, Maximus, for the information."
Maximus, before you go.
Yes, Master Karma.
I want to explain to him the Marble Citadel. I'm going to say, have you ever heard of such a place, either here or abroad?
I normally don't venture too far outside of the Voxerith family house. My duties lie here, but to the best of my knowledge, no place exists here within the main city of Eros.
Thank you, Maximus.
He gives a deep bow, turns around, and walks out to continue doing his whatever he's been working on, his other chores throughout the rest of the day.
Butler stuff.
Carissa turns to Bran and says, we really should go see Maya tonight. I feel rather bad that we didn't make it earlier when she was expecting us.
If we leave now, we should be able to get there before she leaves the Mages College. We should be able to catch her. She shouldn't be that hard to find. She is, from what I gather, she is in charge of setting up the entrance exams this year for the actual college itself and for admission into them. So, very possible that we'll be able to find her fairly quickly and talk to her about what we need to talk to her about.
Yeah, let's do it. Who wants to come?
I'll come along.
Alright, well, let's meet outside in, say, 5 minutes, while the rest of you figure out what else you are doing.
If it's possible, can we perhaps stop by the Temple of Helm on our way back? I have a matter of personal business I'd like to take care of today.
I'm not going inside, but sure.
Shadow?
Yeah.
How long has it been since I was at that was today, right?
It was still the same day, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go along with you guys.
Okay.
I probably won't expect an answer for a day or so.
And Simon, I think you'll want to come along, too.
Well, I might as well join the party, since y'all are.
Simon says, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather stay here and just continue meditating and reading these scrolls that the Acolytes gave me.
All right, Simon.
So Simon heads off back to his room and heads off back to his
Vanguard,
room.
would you keep an eye on him, please?
Vanguard nods sleepily, but is currently sitting on the soul barrel that is in this room.
Why is there a barrel here? Never mind.
There's always a
looking at the barrel, you see that the barrel has different spouts coming off of the side of it, as it is sitting straight up and down, having like different little faucets that seem like if you turned them, they would some form of liquid or something would come out of them.
My goodness. And I'll see if I can meet up with you guys back here. I have some personal matters to look for.
Meryl, would you like me to come along?
If you want to, yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with you then.
Okay, so just so I'm aware of who's going where. Who is doing what? Alright, so it's a Mural and Karma doing thingamajigs.
The gardens. I'm going to see if I can find any druids in the area and see if I can get a scrying spell done towards my homeland.
Alright, so Mural and Karma are going to the gardens. And Mages College?
Salix is going.
Larissa's going.
Salix. Clarissa. Freya. And Tyrion, are you heading out with them as well?
Yeah.
Alright.
That sounds like it could be interesting.
Okay.
And that seems the most likely way to progress our rescue the children shtick, so I will be going to the Mages College.
Alright.
What's a shtick?
It's like a stick, but with an H.
Alright, cool.
Fish thing.
You are a tree expert.
So, as you all begin walking out of the, as you guys all walk out the main foyer area, you walk down the long path. You all end up turning onto the road that leads out of the Rana district, and begin proceeding north. All of a sudden, as you're making it out of the Rana district, you realize all of a sudden that your entire party is heading in the exact same way, as Karma and Emiro, you guys do not know which way the gardens are.
Let's go ask Max.
Yeah.
Brea, as you make it to the end of it, Brea says, the gardens are actually just past the Mages College if you are wanting to get there.
Oh, that works.
So you guys keep continuing up. It takes you about 20 minutes or so to walk from the edge of the Rana's Grove up to what you find to be a very, very large fence that you're suddenly met with in the middle of this city. Looking past this large, like, it's a very tall fence. There's black spikes at the top of it. Every 10 or so bars there on the top of one of the spikes is a magical orb that's white at the moment and is currently just levitating on top of one of the spikes at the moment. Looking past the fence, you notice a very large lawn. And very large, once again, more green, really in a city than you'd expect to see. This yard and this lawn runs directly up to into a gray-looking castle, almost. There's about 4 or 5 spires that, from what you can tell, that are protruding from the main portion of it. Slanted roof with slanted roof. It's about 4 stories. It's about 4 or 5 stories tall, and then the spires continue even higher than that, proceeding up there. You follow this fence all the way down. You continue to follow this fence westward for about 5 minutes, and you're eventually led to a gate. Or you eventually find a gate that is wide open, leading down a long pathway that leads up to this large brick building. Brea stops there. You see a steady flow of people walking in, and some individuals walking out that look. You see a few individuals who are walking out. Some look burned. Some look like they have. Some look very giddy and joyful and almost have like a little spring in their step, but a bunch of the other individuals who are continuing to walk in look as though they're trying to remember things here and there, look a little apprehensive, not really sure what they should be doing, or what's really happening there.
Ray, what is this place?
This is the main Mages College. I gotta find my notes on this one, because this is why I need to switch everything over to digital, because it makes things so much faster to find.
Control F.
If it was in my digital copies, it's not in my digital copies.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Just
there.
yell Control F, and then what you're
Control F.
It's like
little prompt pops up in front of my eyes. Oh, that's nice.
Like Osseo Firebolt, you know what I mean? Like Control F character sheet, and it'll just show up.
This is the main Mages College of Eros, Texria, the Institute of the Arcane Arts.
Texria?
Texria. Texria.
Texria.
Shut up with my spell.
Texria.
RIA.
Okay.
Texria. Institute of the Brea says. It looks as though the first day of applications and of testing has already begun for the exams in order to get in. Karma and Emiro, if you continue to walk down this road, and she points farther west, continue to walk down this road, you will run into the gardens. It's kind of hard to miss them. This road dead ends right into them.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
We'll be back at the estate tonight.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Brea turns and begins walking up joins the crowd of people who begin walking up who are walking up the road at this point in time, or walking up the drive to the Great Mages College. As the rest, as Amiral and Carmen, you guys split off and head to the gardens. The rest of you join this kind of larger crowd walking in at this point in time. As you approach the college, you see a large crowd of people standing outside or standing outside around a fountain that appears to be in the middle of the courtyard, right in front of the main doors. There's a few individuals sitting around, just kind of reading scrolls. Of another few individuals who appear to be just kind of chatting with each other. A few seem to be every now and then you see some spark of arcane energy go flying off, or something, or like someone crafting and conjuring animals of light and different things out of thin air as they go prancing off and then eventually fade into oblivion. As you approach the main doors, you find yourself in a line that is leading inside at this point in time. Well, I guess this is the line for applicants. Wonder where Maya would be. Brea kind of skirts around the outside of the line and continues inside. As you walk inside, you're greeted by a very, very large and very grandiose entry hall, almost like Gothic cathedral style. As you walk in, it's not cold. There are fires lit all around the room. Though they don't seem to be giving off any heat. They seem to be there expressly for light, is what they appear to be. As you look up, as you continue to look in, there's a large grand staircase that leads up and then splits off to the right and the left, and then continues on into deeper into this castle area. Right at the foot of the grand staircase, not allowing anyone in or past that point, apart from a few students who walk by after showing a badge. There is a small desk with about 5 or 6 individuals sitting there. You see a gnome sitting there. You see an elderly man sitting there, human man. You also see a young human lady who has brown hair that flows down her shoulders, or flows down past her shoulders. She's wearing a very simple blue dress, and is sitting there taking applications and just helping to move the process along. Brea walks up next to the table and kind of clears her throat. Maya looks up for a second, looks up and says, "If you'd like to wait in the grand hall over there, I'll be with you momentarily." The rest of you guys follow Brea's lead as she walks into the grand hall and closes the door behind her.
The sight of students preparing for exams, it brings back memories of when I was a wee gnome.
Like,
yes, but
smaller than you are now?
A bit.
Yes, but as you may have noticed as you're walking in, and these aren't just children or young ones. These are people of all kinds. And as you were walking in, you did notice that there were some elderly people who were standing in line, like a lot older than you'd expect. You get the sense that getting into this Mages College is a very, very prestigious honor, from what you can tell. At this point, you notice Brea looks relatively nervous, a little scared.
Perhaps some introductions are in order.
Agreed.
Well, we all know each other.
A few minutes go by in kind of awkward silence, and
Hello, I am Salix Dren, and these are my companions.
Hello, there's no one else in the room.
And my friends here, specifically Brea Voxerith and Clarissa Skytinker, would like to speak with you. I believe you have an appointment.
Who is he talking to?
You're as Salix is saying this, the door behind him opens as Salix is speaking this to. No.
Oh, I thought she was in the room.
As Salix is saying this to particularly no one in general, it just seems to be talking to the room at large. The door behind him opens, and in steps the woman with brown hair and the simple blue dress.
Salix, are you feeling okay?
At which point she says, looks over at Bray and says, "Is your friend all right?" And she says, she just gives a simple shrug of, "I don't know." Brea runs. As soon as the door fully closes, Brea runs over and gives Maya a gigantic hug. And Maya goes, "Oh, Brea, it's good to see you too." And she returns the hug, and they pull apart. And they say, Brea looks over and looks over to Maya and says, "Did you get my letter?" And Maya responds, I got it, but it was a little confusing, to say the least." Was all the paperwork accepted and everything? Maya looks relatively questioning and says, "Yeah, and your specifications were met." Brea looks relieved at that point, and seems to kind of just slouch down. "Sorry, where are my manners? Maya, these are my fellow friends and compatriots. They have been helping me search for my cousin, Elena, and she introduces each and every single one. Introduces you to Maya within turn, eventually coming to Clarissa and saying, "And this one right here has some rather unpredictable magic, and she's been wanting to learn how to control it a little better." "Oh, well, that's fantastic. We're so glad that you're here. Our entrance exams have already started, but I'm sure if you wanted to also gain access to the Mages College, we could probably find some room and some time for you to join the exam as well."
As fantastic as that sounds, this quest to find the missing children is rather urgent. I'm not sure if I could devote the time to staying for any length here. I was just hoping to find a place where I could maybe get some answers and begin to at least understand and control my magic. I am a fully educated magician. I did attend school in Gadget's Peak, if you've heard of it.
As you mentioned Gadget's Peak, Maya says, "Oh, that place. We differ quite strongly on opinion with them, but they have been known to produce amateur magicians from time to time. But any form of study or wanting to be able to, or want to be able to control one's powers comes from a rudimentary time of study and study of oneself and study of the arcane energy that flows all within this land. You're wanting to control your magic? Is that what I'm gathering? What specifically are you looking for here?"
Yeah, well, you see, I never quite fit in well with the other mages and wizards, as my magic is not born from some complicated understanding of the fabric of the universe that I then manipulate to my ends, although I do understand the principles of that from my education. My power...
Clearly, otherwise you didn't be here.
Yeah, yes. My powers, I just seem to will things and they happen. I don't necessarily understand the how or the why, and sometimes that goes a little sideways. Like, I accidentally poisoned my friend here, and she jerks the thumb over to point at Tyrion, and most traumatizingly, I set myself on fire once.
Most traumatizing for you, I got poisoned.
Oh, you were fine.
I did get better, yes.
Well, if you're just wanting to gain access to our knowledge here, the only way to really do that is to become part of the Mages Association, and the fastest way to do that is by taking the exams. The exams don't take long; they're but a day. It's just mainly a thing and a formality for us to really find out who truly has the gift of the arcane arts, or who is, a simple street magician. It's not. It would not take much of your time, and these exams only come around about once a year. You would be able to gain access to our libraries and our classes if you're ever in town for an extended period of time. But I know Brea has already signed up to take her exam later today. Although we've been able to push that and hide that for a little bit.
Clarissa turns somewhat surprised to Brea and say, can we talk about the blue moon here? Is that okay?
Brea says, yeah, Brea turns to Maya and gives her a nod. Maya does something just like some form of like motion with her hands and says something inaudible to you, as all of a sudden there's a little poof of arcane magic that pops off of her fingers, and a small, not rigging, but a small like sound is all of a sudden in your ear. It's almost annoying, but it's not quite. There, we may now speak in private, and without concern of being overheard.
Excellent. All right, if it's all right with my compatriots here, I will take your mage's exam. It could be fun. Who knows? But I fear we do also have a somewhat more urgent matter to discuss. Our friend here, Lady Brea, was stolen into the Shadowfell by some malevolent entity. I was able to tie the entity's magic to myself and pull the rest of my group in, and we were able to save Brea, but she was bound in some strange ritual circle by dark magic that I don't seem to understand. And when we emerged, she had access to powers not of this world and seemingly extremely dangerous.
I'm well aware of Brea's situation, shall we say.
Oh.
She has already shown her art. She's already shown her spells and her abilities to me. She just asked that we keep this relatively private and for now. But she does want to learn how to. It is in relatively the same boat as you. She wants to learn how to control her powers and continue to grow with them.
Well, all right. I was very worried about it. At first, I was concerned she had been possessed by the entity, but it increasingly didn't seem to be the case. I just want to make sure she's not a danger to herself, first and foremost, or to those around her.
And we wouldn't ask her to do the exam or to become part of this if we didn't think that she was able to. But, anyways, well, I will get you the necessary paperwork, and we will allow for you to be able to take the exam. Be able to take the exam either tomorrow or today. Could work. I think we have one extra slot after. Who was it? And she pulls out a small parchment from her list. After Miss Sparkgem, I think we have a slot open.
Whoa! Say that name again.
Miss Sparkgem?
Do you have the first name there? Would it happen to be?
She opens. She looks at the scroll again and says, "Lyra."
Yeah. All right. Yes, I want the slot after her.
I take it you know of her or know who she is.
Yes. She's the child from the one family in Gadget Peak that can't just get along with everybody else. Ugh. We've never liked each other much, and I'd be remiss to not take the slot right after her and show her that the Sky Tinker family deserves its spot in charge.
It's interesting you say this, but you both share the same extravagant personality, shall we say. And very well, we will begin setting up for the exams themselves. And she turns and walks out. Brea still standing there, kind of just looks a little shell-shocked at the fact of, oh god, this is happening.
Clarissa is fuming over the fact that there's Alera's Spark Gem is here, so she's just kind of pacing back and forth angrily.
Clarissa, did you two have some sort of particular incident when you were living in Gadget Peak, or is this just a general family animosity?
Oh, she hasn't liked me from when we were small children, ever since I got my powers. I think she's just mad because I was always able to just naturally do magic while she spent forever locked up in the library. It didn't help her already exceedingly pale complexion.
A few minutes later, Maya returns with the necessary paperwork. You fill it out and are able to you pass it along back to her. Brea does not fill anything out, but she does look relatively nervous at this point. She takes a seat at one of the tables that are within this grate within the side hall and the side room. After you finish up the paperwork, Maya asks for you to join, or asks for you to follow her, and she walks completely across the main hall into a small door that leads into a small hall, into a hallway that you guys begins walking down. Every 5 or 6 feet, there's a magical torch sconce that is set into the wall. Clarissa, as you're walking past all of these, you swear that some of these are some of these torches are using the same stones that have been mined from Gadget's Peak throughout history and have been sent here.
Little touch of home.
Maya eventually stops at the end of the hall, and there's 3 doors that are on. There's one door directly in front, and there's 2 doors, one off to your left and one off to your right. Maya turns to the rest of you and says, "Brea, and you are first. If the rest of you would proceed into the viewing area, we will begin."
Good luck, Brea.
The rest of you, and Maya has gestured off to the door off to your left. So you all walk into the door, and as you walk in, what you expect to be kind of a small classroom turns out to be a very, very large oval-shaped amphitheater with a pit that has been set in the very middle of it. Looking about, there is a large crowd of either other hopefuls or families and or even just what appear to be just some individuals who seem to have come to watch this event of this portion of the exams. As you walk in the middle of the pit currently is a small humanoid individual. Her hair is is currently jet black, but there are streaks of what is currently just jet black, but what appear to be streaks of some other dark color that seem to be infusing it. She looks to be almost childlike in a height at this point from where you guys are standing.
Clarissa sighs loudly.
As you let out this sigh, which seems to just kind of almost disappear in the air, not really letting out nearly as much sound as you're expecting to. You see you see this small individual take her hands and begin to start chanting something. A large begins to start chanting something, and she expels it forward. The bolts of lightning streaks off between the walls and does not disappear. It stays there. It goes all over the place within this oval and begins to stay in spot, still crackling, still energized, and she begins to manipulate it to begin forming a very close-knit webbed ball that begins to appear and begins to form out off this lightning that has been just begin to crackle and crackle and crackle. She allows for the ball to expand and expand until it is directly above her, and it is almost touching the sides of, like, every side of this oval amphitheater above her head. She closes her hands with a loud clap, and the ball shrinks down to size and vanishes as there are small sparks of blue light that are now floating down from the air itself. There is a marginal amount of clapping that is going on, or that happens as she has finished up this portion of it, as she takes a bow and walks off of this sand pit through a small door that is off to the side.
Nah.
The rest of you guys find some seats. They seem to be fairly. You guys seem to find seats about halfway down, not as close to the not as close as you'd like, but still close enough that you can see the people and see the individuals down below. Few more participants come by. None seem to have the same kind of dazzle that the first being or individual had. The next one, eventually Brea comes out. Eventually Brea comes out and is in the middle of the pits. Is currently in the middle of the pit at this moment in time. She stands there and closes her eyes and concentrates for a second as she grasps a large staff that has a red stone at the top of it. She closes her eyes, concentrating, and 3 blue dots appear around her head. Clarissa, at which point you notice, you realize these to be magic missiles, and as they appear, she opens her eyes, and you see that same blue energy that you grew accustomed to seeing, that you saw in the battle, streak off forward as the magic missiles seemingly don't have a target, begin to fly all around the amphitheater, and even like they don't seem to ever hit anyone, but they seem to begin to fly. They leave streaks of blue behind them. She takes a moment, and with one of her hands, you see her point off to her side. A green arcane energy from one of her fingers fires off, and right when you think it's about to hit the crowd, one of the magic missiles zooms by, hits, and the 2 beams intersect. The missile continues on, but the green beam is nowhere to be seen. The missile that struck the green beam appears to now have taken on that green color and is continuing to zoom all around, still leaving that same green. Still leaving the blue, and then now with a bit of green mixed into the tail, like within the color that's flying around. Brea takes her staff in one hand and fires what you see as a firebolt that goes flying forward. And the same thing, another magic missile flies by and picks up that one. The green, now there's a hint of red and blue sparking behind that one in addition to the green one. Her final one, she stands there and allows for the missiles to continue making this very intricate web around her and around the amphitheater before she takes her hands, focuses upward, and lets out blue cackling light from her hands as it goes straight up in the air, completely electrifying the entire web. As her magic dissipates and as the missiles all come down slamming into the ground. Brea stands there, breathing heavily. The crowd begins clapping for her. A little bit more than the other participants, but still about as nice as they normally could. Brea takes a deep breath, gives a curt nod and a slight bow, and turns and walks away.
I meet Tyrion and say, an impressive demonstration for one who's only been casting magic for 3 weeks.
That we know of.
I suppose.
Clarissa, as you're finishing watching this, voice behind you says, "That was," after hearing Salix's comment, says, "That was quite impressive, especially for one who, as you say, has just received her powers and received this gift of the arcane." You turn around and you see Maya sitting behind you guys. You see, this portion of the exam is about individuality and showing what can you personally do that maybe someone else can't. Showing a way that you can manipulate your magic in a way that is individualized into yourself. What shows us you is what we're looking for. Individuality, things that will allow for you to continue to grow past yourself and into the future. By the way, Clarissa, you're up and about 2 people. You should probably begin heading down there.
Sure. Okay.
And
Good luck, little gnome.
Thanks, buddy.
Please don't light anyone on fire.
If anyone gets lit on fire, I promise it will be you.
Fair enough.
Please make it awesome.
That's fair enough.
Clarissa, as you Maya leads you back up and out and down to the other door the first door the door at the very end of the hallway. And as she opens it, there's a long staircase that leads down, wide enough for 2 people. She leads you down and into a small waiting room where you find a few other individuals sitting down there. There is a halfling man with very brown hair and seems to be holding some form of case in his right hand. Brea comes walking back in with her bag of holding slung across her shoulder, and there is also a very, very tiny individual, smaller even than you, surprisingly, who is sitting on the bench with barely her feet reaching.
Well, good job, Brea. That was inspiring.
It was enough. It was what I could do. And she does look a little scared and a little and slightly apprehensive, but she does look seemingly a lot more relieved than last at which you saw her. She looks to be glad that this has finally finished up. Well, good luck, and hope that yours goes about as well as mine does. I'll be up watching. And with that, she begins walking up the stairs and begins walking up the stairs as well. Maya looks over to the halfling man and says, "Cass, you are up next. And look forward to seeing your show and seeing what you plan to bring us this year. At which point Cass winks and says, I look forward to showing it to you. He turns and walks out to the door with his case in hand. Maya looks down at you, Clarissa, and says, good luck. Hopefully you will be, hopefully you will dazzle us and dazzle the other judges, who are out there, and those others evaluating. And with that, she turns and leaves. The rest of you up in the main amphitheater, the small halfling man walks out onto the sand pit and opens up his case, and out produces a violin of such, and begins to strike up this very, very fast jaunty, this very, very fast, almost like this very fast tune. As he does, there appears to be no, like, there's sound coming out and there's stuff that's going on. But as he does, he reaches a point in the music about 5 or 10 seconds in where his bowstring actually catches, is actually ignited in flames, and the flames begin to dance and soar off of the string and begin to dance around the pit within itself. He continues to play faster and faster, and as he does, more fire seems to spring to life. Eventually, all these flames seem to be taking the shape of human bodies, and these human bodies begin to dance and seem to be dancing in very erotic ways. There appears to be no, like, form. You can't tell whether they're male or female or human or elf or halfling. You can't tell. They just appear to be dancing, and almost in what some would describe as erotic ways. It's very interesting to watch. Eventually, his song comes to a close, and he packs up his instrument and turns around and walks off. There's very little applause for him.
Tough crowd.
There's a few claps here and there, and that's about it. Clarissa, as Cass walks back into the room, he says, "Well, looks like this year won't be the year that I get in, but we'll keep trying."
Did I hear music playing?
You did. That's where I draw my inspiration from. He runs his hand through his brown hair. You did. It was where I draw my inspiration from, and that's where my magic gets channeled, is through my instruments and through my music that I play.
Oh. How wonderful.
At which point there's a blur of motion off to your side as a individual slightly taller than you, jet black hair, with what you can now see as purple streaks throughout it, runs up to Cass and gives him a giant hug. As she leans back, she looks at him and says, "That was wonderful. It was so well done." And Cass just looks at him and says, "I gave it my best." At which point she reaches up and just plants one right on his face, and you're just kind of left standing there as these two are basically kissing directly in front of you.
Oh my!
Clarissa just burst out into like raucous laughter. you with the I didn't. She can barely form words at this point.
They break apart and kind of look at you a little oddly and be like, "Well, that's what we expect from." Well, it's to be expected.
Oh, Larry, I can't say I'm thrilled to see you, but you do remind me of home, and you have a lover. I never would have pictured it. Oh.
And why not? Why would you never have pictured it?
Well, you spent all your time being cranky and hiding your way in the library instead of hanging out with the rest of us. You were. What are you doing here anyway? Why aren't you back at home, like I don't know, kicking puppies or something?
Just because I'm not at home, as you said, kicking puppies, or in the library, as you stated, doesn't mean I can't have dreams to, continue my education. Now, some of magic's more intricacies have never come so easily to me. But at least I'm here now, and I've already been told that that my performance and that my individuality has already been was looked well upon by those looking over and prospecting for us. So, but we will see what you have to deal. We'll see what you decide to give us. It will be hopefully quite the show. Come on, Cass.
Me.
At which point she begins to pull Cass by the arm and says, Cass is kind of just looking like, I'll see you later, and walks behind her, following
her. Wonders never cease.
At which point you walk out. You stand in front of the door. Still yourself. Is there anything that you would like to do to prepare yourself for this? I
have a quick DM question.
Yeah.
If I cast shield on myself, will that last, like, its duration is 1 round, which is, like, how long is that?
Not sure.
Great. Okay.
You had to see that coming.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. In that case, I will just barge out there.
As you approach the door swings open, seemingly of its own accord. As your foot crosses over the threshold, make a perception check.
Perception, sure.
Yeah, just a straight perception roll.
All right, 17.
What was that?
17.
Okay. As you cross over the threshold of the door, you feel an odd sense and an odd, strange energy overcome your body. You feel more alive. You feel like you have more energy. You feel as though you have the ability to, like right now, if you wanted to, you could cast every spell in your repertoire and still be able to continue casting spells for days, is what you feel like at this moment in time. Looking in, as you walk onto the sand floor of this pit, there are you see a slight magical timer appear on the wall directly across from you, and it says you have one. It has the 1 minute sent or spread across it.
All right. So she's going to walk towards the center of the amphitheater, kind of like playing to the crowd, waving at her friends and just kind of gesturing towards the stands. And
crowd's dead silent.
Okay. Even my friends. Thank you. When she
echoes slightly.
Yay, Clarissa! Knock 'em dead, but not literally. Not literally.
When she reaches the center of the arena, she's going to cast Scorching Ray, using metamagic to buff it up with, enhanced spell, and have the. Can you tell me a little bit about the amphitheater? Are there like support columns, or is it just like a traditional Greek style amphitheater?
So the amphitheater itself is like where you're standing at is like a good solid 7-8 feet lower than the actual amphitheater itself. So there's the oval, it's like full ovaled, and then different tiers go up from there. The pit itself is dropped down about 7-8 feet down below the lowest spectator. There's not really support columns. It's just like a wall. It's like walls all around the main pit area, and then there's people that are sitting above that in amphitheater style sitting.
All right, so she's going to cast Scorching Ray to conjure 3 burning rays of fire energy and send all 3 hurtling straight at Tyrion.
Ah!
But
duck.
But like a few feet before they hit him, she's going to pull them back and instead have them carve like the rune of her family into the ground, like around her, with her in the center.
Okay, make a Arcana roll. This will just be a straight Arcana roll to see if. Oh no, this will be a concentration roll.
Okay, so use your spell. It's like an attack roll almost, right? Because you would
almost, yeah.
Modify. Okay.
I think it's I think it's wisdom is what. No, it's constitution because you need to. It's concentration is what we're trying to see if you can maintain.
All right, modified 20.
Okay, cool. Yep. The rays go flying. The rays go flying forth from your hand. They get aimed directly in the direction that you think Tyrion is, as the rest of the amphitheater is fairly dark and the center is very lit up. So they go flying off in that direction, continuing all three continuing to kind of fly and forming kind of a tricycle. Before they make it, just as they like kind of crest the side of the pit, they veer off accidentally from your original intended target, and they begin veering back towards you. You sense that there is there's a magical barrier to protect the crowd from getting accidentally destroyed or hurt.
Damn.
Although Tyrion does duck out of the way as it's coming towards him, and he's like, ah! Ducks out of the way.
I never doubted you for a moment.
As the scorching ray goes, as all three scorching rays go flying upward, two go flying off to the left and the right, one goes flying over his head, and they come back to you. They begin to, as they land down around you, they slam into the ground, smoldering there. At which point they begin to move and burn the sand into a very, very dark, like almost black color, carving the sigil of your house within it.
Okay. And as soon as it finishes making the sigil of her house, glance to see how much time I have.
Looking up, you have about 50 seconds left.
All right. So she's then going to start conjuring magic missiles, but like conjuring them in such a way that they look like they're rising out of the rune of her house, like almost continuing the pattern up into the ceiling, and she's just gonna like keep doing that for as long as she can. To conjure the missiles and then just have them float up to like about even with the top of the amphitheater and just float there.
Okay. So where are they coming out of from? Out of curiosity.
Like almost pictured like fireworks, like they're coming out of the sigil of her house, of the Sky Tinker house, but they're keeping the shape as they come up towards the ceiling.
So as you cast that, you see like in the sand there's actually like little dots that all of a sudden pop up just right within the sigil. You standing directly in the middle of it. The bolts begin to rise up slowly as you're willing them to just rise slowly up, almost creating like a three-dimensional shape of your sigil that is now encasing your entire body and your entire frame within blue light at this point. And how long are in? All right. So as you continue to do that, you glance up. You realize that you have about 20 seconds left as the sigil has risen. As the time it takes for the sigil to rise up to about the top of the amphitheater area or the pit.
And trying to time it so that what I'm about to describe ends right as time runs out. She's pull all the missiles back toward herself, like she was attacking herself, but cast shield immediately after she does that.
Okay. So as the sigil of magic missiles that has just risen very slowly up out of the sigil, Clarissa stands there and releases her hands as all magic missiles just go flying all over the place, just completely all getting sent everywhere in every which direction, in every which direction to all the places. They seem to bounce off of the magical barrier that is protecting the crowd and begin to bounce back to their original origin, which at this point is the central focus of Clarissa, leaving blue streaks behind them. No longer the same. No longer the same symbol or sigil that Clarissa had originally made them. It looks as though all these missiles and all these like bullets have just been fired directly at Clarissa. Clarissa, as you're doing that, make a concentration check.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
To see if you can get that. To see if you can get your spell off in time.
17.
Okay. All right. As you see the missiles begin to come and arc back towards you, you let them get closer and closer. They are 10 feet away, 5 feet away, 3 feet away. As soon as you see them hit the 2 feet, you tap your leg very quickly with your hand, and you cast Shield as the missile comes directly at you and slams into your entire body. As the missile slams into your body, all of them slam in. They explode, and there is a flash of blue energy that crashes out around them, leaving almost this kind of ethereal pixie dust type of energy that is remaining within the pit.
All right. And Clarissa will bow and then wave towards her friends as time expires.
All right. So, as there is, as the glow and as these dust particles seem to begin to drop down to the ground, the crowd is just dead silent at this point. You take a deep breath, your eyes open, and there's a single clap that begins to come out from the side of a single clap that comes off to your left. You'd think your friends are sitting sitting off to your right hand side. You can't tell who it is or who is clapping. Another clap chimes in. Another clap. Another clap. Soon, the entire auditorium and the entire amphitheater is letting out the biggest applause that you've heard from any of the participants that have come through here already. There is just an eruption after that of applause as you wave and begin walking off of the field.
Man, that was fun.
You head back up. You head back up the stairs. Find your friends sitting and find your friends sitting in the amphitheater as well. And Brea just looks at you and says, "That was more than I was ever expecting." Or, "Wow, that was beautiful."
Well, thank you. Having my friends here and seeing somebody from my hometown, even though she's an absolute bitch, kind of brought out the best in me, I guess.
It must have. At which point Maya comes around and says, at which point you begin to see people who seem to start walking around and start walking off and getting up from the amphitheater and walking out various doors that people had entered in. Maya, as you all turn and ready to leave, Maya walks up to you and Brea and says, Well, good news is both of you passed the first exam. It's quite a show that you both put on there. You both have also been selected as teammates for the second exam. So we look forward to seeing your display tomorrow. Prepare as best as you can. Tomorrow's will be a little more challenging than today's was, but tomorrow's is the practical exam. Well, we will see you then.
No, we're gonna be partners, Lady Brea.
At which point Brea just puts her hand in her face and says, "How many times do I have to tell you? It's just Brea."
Sorry. Well, go ahead.
Oh, go for it. Nope.
Well, anyway, we should probably spend some time together tonight and discuss strategies. I have a feeling that this practical exam is going to involve combat, which, fortunately, we are quite adept at.
Fortunately. Although, if it's specifically supposed to use magic, it will probably depend on what we're fighting. And be quite an interesting battle.
Well, we'll hang out a bit tonight. The power of friendship and teamwork will prevail over everything. And she makes sort of like a Power Ranger style, strikes like a Power Ranger style pose. She says that.
At which point there's an audible smack as you look up and you just see Brea face-palming her face.
What did I say?
Brea takes 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, from her fist.
Face palm that hard.
Yeah. As she pulls her hand away, you do see a red mark that is on the side of her cheek at this point from where her hand had just hit and impacted.
Oh
At
boy.
which point you feel a slight nudge past your shoulder, Clarissa, as Elira. I get that name right?
Yeah, close enough. I hadn't actually thought about how to pronounce it when
Yeah. Actually, technically, Ilaria, I guess, is how it would be pronounced.
Yeah, I think Ilaria is probably best.
As Ilaria walks past you, and she says, "Not bad for a sky tanker." Continues to walk off. Cass is behind her and says, "Don't mind her. She's always been crazy, that one, but she was impressed. She was quite impressed with what you did there."
Well, she wasn't so bad herself, even though she is a bit of a grouch. I've known her since she was a wee gnome. You should find me sometime. I have lots of embarrassing stories that I'm sure you would love to hear. She tries to say that loud enough that Ilaria hears it.
Ilaria has already walked farther out the door at this point. Cass looks at you and says, "I might follow you up on that, depending on if I make it in or not. But from what I've been told, Ilaria and myself will be partners in tomorrow's practical exam, so we will see what happens with that."
Great.
All right. The rest of you guys make your way out and back, out of the Mages College and begin making your way that way. All right. Emiral and Karma, what are you guys doing?
Well, I'm assuming that we're at the gardens by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna
let
let her lead throughout this entire thing.
Is there any people around that would be druids as well in this vicinity?
Let me see here. I'm a picture.
Actually, can I go ninja back up?
If you want to.
Yeah.
To the gardens.
So, apparently to the gardens he's going ninja back up.
Alright. Oh, shit.
100% sure why, but apparently ninja gardens are needed. Or ninja backup is needed.
I almost knocked over my beer.
There we go.
Karma is very... He's not trusting.
Alright, so as you continue to walk past this long fence line, traversing deeper and deeper into the city of Eros, you the fence line eventually takes an abrupt turn to the right-hand side, and continues. And now in front of you, there is a very, very large area of just trees, and different trees from what you've ever seen before. Some of which you know from living within the Elven realm. However, some of them you've never seen before, and they are quite interesting to see. Some look old, some look very new. There's some very, very pretty pink and purple flowers that line the side of it. A pathway leads continues leading into the different gardens. As you follow the pathway, it eventually leads to a couple different forks in the road, a couple different forks in the path that lead in off to different areas. This place is very, very large, so make an investigation check.
Both of us?
Investigation, that would be a nat 20.
Okay. So after about 10 minutes of walking, you happen upon a large fountain in the middle like in a small clearing that is within this kind of like almost like city forest. It's very bizarre. It's a very weird place. As you find this fountain, you find a small red-haired gnome standing in front of it. He is wearing very green and brown different tunics and different shirts and clothing. Has a bit of a rucksack on his back, and it has a staff that is almost twice his size. That he is currently he's currently leaning against the fountain.
I approach and say in Druidic, hello, good friend, to see if he catches that.
He turns around and says in common, "Oh, pointy-eared elf, what do we have here?"
I was looking for... I go back to common. Sorry to bother you. My name is Emiral, and I've come from the Elven lands, and I was wanting to see if there's any druids in town by chance.
Well, you happen to found one of them. There's a small band of us that tend to the gardens, and we normally are around here daily, but this district is quite large and normally needs a lot of attention, so we're always around singing or helping the gardens grow as much as possible.
Just like home. I have a few questions, if I may, if I could get some assistance.
And what is a pointy-eared elf looking for?
If you don't mind, what is your name?
Tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine.
I did introduce myself. I'm a mural. Pardon me, Nilo.
Well, aren't you a smart one? Oh, aren't you a smart one? My name's Jamorn.
Jamorn. Okay, Jamorn. Is there a possibility that I could get a scrying spell of some sorts to check up on home? Because I'm not able to do that as of yet. Or know of somebody who could do a scrying spell?
Scrying spells, it's possible. However, unfortunately, that's quite an expensive process, and it's something that takes a little bit more time than normal to do, but...
Yeah, I wanted to see how home was doing. I've been away for a few months and wanted to check in and see how they are.
Make a persuasion roll.
Persuasion, that would be 17. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, unfortunately, the scrying ritual does take some time, and while you probably could find someone to do it, that person's more than likely not me. I'm still trying to get into that point. While I'm very attuned with nature, we could. It's a little bit farther beyond my realm of abilities at this point in time.
Would you know of who would know how to do a scrying spell in your circle?
I'd imagine that some of the mages know how to do them, but those would be the high ranking ones. Or I know there's one druid within the city that does, but he rarely. But if he did it for just anyone who'd ask, he'd be either making more money than any of us and not needing to live in the forest, or he'd be working and doing it all day. He unfortunately is not one of those. He's one of those individuals who takes quite a lot of shiny, if you get my drift, in order to make it happen.
I see. And another thing, have you heard any news from Danforth as of lately through the winds, by chance?
If by winds you mean the words of others, then, normal stuff from Danforth. The council up there is uncooperative with the council down here. The army is mobilizing just all that normal crap that we normally hear from Danforth.
Mobilizing armies?
There's always rumors of mobilizing armies from Danforth. They never mean to do anything, though.
Oh, well, I had some things happen a few months back that make me question, so...
Oh, really? Like what?
I had an incident happen in my courtroom back in my hometown in the Elven Realm.
Interesting.
Yes, and I didn't know if something might have come up that possibly could have been noted or heard of in whispers, or maybe some point in nature might have seen or caught something.
Well, I haven't heard anything from Danforth, but if I do, I'll keep my ears open.
Thank you. And have you heard of anything about missing children? My allies are currently looking for some.
Missing children around here?
Yes.
Not within the city of Eros. There seems to be more children than we normally know what to do with around here, actually. There's been kids that have gone off wandering, but they're always back within a day. Nothing to report. Nothing that seems to have caught the attention of anyone higher up at all.
Okay. Thank you for your time. And I bow towards them and proceed on my way.
All right. Drum's just kind of left standing there and turns back to the fountain and just kind of looks down at it and kind of in thought at this point. Or Jermorn.
And I will return back to where Karma is and say there's no such luck. The any help that we may have happen will be very costly by the sounds of it.
That's too bad.
So I will proceed back to. Is there anything else that you need to do, Karma?
No, I was just here for support.
Okay. I'm going to proceed to head back with Karma to the mansion.
All right. As the rest of the day progresses, the rest of you meet back up at the at the Voxerith family mansion. As the day progresses, and if there's anything else you guys would like to do for the day, it's probably approaching about.
Go ahead.
Up. It was okay. So you're wanting to head back to the Temple District, okay? Okay. So as Celix, as you guys begin or finish walking out, Brea continues to head down into Rana's Grove, whereas you and anyone else who's wandering begins to head northward to the Temple District.
Is anyone interested in coming with me?
Clarissa's going to go back to the mansion with Brea and be discussing strategy with her.
Okay. All right, and Tyrion, it sounded like you were headed up there as well.
I mean, yeah, I might as well go along. Sounds like fun.
Alright, so as you guys, as you both begin approaching the temple district as well, you guys are greeted with the same image and the same look of the large platinum sanctuary within the city. You guys make your way. You guys hug the outside wall of the Cloudtop district and make your way to the Temple of Helm. Once again, being greeted by the same the stained glass window that is atop of the door. Not letting in and not painting such a nice picture that the sun is not hitting it in the way that it should be. On the interior inside. For late in the evening, there's a few individuals here. There's a few acolytes there. Few acolytes within the temple itself. Bearer Holland seems to be nowhere to be found inside.
I go to speak to one of the acolytes. Is Bearer Harland around?
One of the acolytes speaks up and says, he might be in his office. I'm not really I think you were there earlier or yesterday, weren't you?
I was, but I'm not. Am I just allowed to go walk in?
Oh, from what he's told us, you're just be able to walk on up and knock on his door. He's right there.
Thank you, acolyte. Okay, well, I guess I'll go downstairs and see if he's there.
You walk up to his main door. You knock on the door. Enter.
Bear Harlan. It's good to see you again.
Brother Salix, it is good to see you once more.
Have you perhaps heard anything since we spoke yesterday?
Since we've spoken yesterday, nothing has come up. Although I have found mention a few times to the individual that you spoke of, named Bilran. Seems as though he was a devil of some form a while back, back during the Dawn Wars. It's interesting that his name has surfaced again, especially within this time period.
What supposedly happened to him?
Well, supposedly he was the son and one of the spawn of one of the demon lords, which one none ever claimed him, but apparently he was the spawn of one of them, and he was banished before the end of the Dawn Wars to one of the outer planes. But if he has found a way. But if he's found a way to anywhere else besides his place of residence, this is very, very fair rewarding. But that's about all I've been able to dig up within this time. In this time period.
That's interesting. Perhaps we'll check with the Temple Bahamut before we leave today. If I may ask, is the ritual ready?
Unfortunately, we haven't had time to prepare for the ritual, with also wanting to continue to look up all this stuff, but it's something we could probably prepare for probably within a week or two.
Okay. I would appreciate that if it's at all possible.
It's possible. We'll just need the time to prepare for it. We have our daily duties and our daily rituals that we also need to attend to, but I can see that some of our acolytes can begin the process of preparation as well for your ritual.
Yes, please, if that would be possible, Bear.
Okay.
I will not intrude upon your time any further.
Well, we will continue searching for what we can on this Bilran and the Raven Queen, as you've said, but from what we've been able to find, not much else of them is at least find it available within our libraries. Maybe one of the other libraries around town will be able to help you.
Thank you, Bear.
Okay. Rest of you, you and Tyrion walk out of the temple district, or walk out of the temple, and you are now standing within the main crossroads and thoroughfare of the temple district.
All right, so that was the Temple of Helm we were just at, right?
That was the temple.
Yes.
We were in, yeah.
What do you think? Should we go visit the Temple of Bahamut? It is the largest temple in the city.
I would like to get a closer look at that giant dragon statue, since I only saw it in kind of a hazy dream trance, I guess is what we're going with.
Is that an elf thing that happens from time to time?
Apparently it is.
Maybe it's tied to your scar. You get that checked out.
It's entirely possible. Actually, I should... Are many of your order healers?
A few of us.
Well, let's go to the Temple of Bahamut, and perhaps I'll ask some questions of the priests there.
Okay. Alright, let's go.
Alright. As you guys continue to make your way deeper into the temple district itself, you begin to approach this the large dragon statue that is perched atop of this main citadel. As you get closer, you notice that the stairs and this giant staircase that is leading up to it is actually the end of its tail, which actually spirals down. To the base, down to the ground level, which you guys are currently walking on. You guys begin walking up the stairs, and you end up spending a good solid hour just walking up these stairs.
Takes an hour?
Takes an hour to walk up these stairs. You eventually reach these main doors, these very wide doors. They're very ornate. They seem to be made of a single sheet of metal. Each of them, each also has an inscription and a inscribing on it of Bahamut, at the Bahamut taking up the main area, and then another dragon lower at the bottom of it. Looking closer, you find the dragon at the bottom appears to have 5 different heads attached to it. As you walk up and open the doors, you...
I say to
God damn it, Shadow, stop doing that.
I'm really trying, guys.
Pointing at the dragon at the bottom, I said, do you know who that is?
I would imagine that is... Oh, notes. That's other dragon that's in my notes. Hold on.
Tiamat.
That's Tiamat.
Thank you. Yep, Control F. Other dragon. Tiamat. There we go.
Yeah.
Just a quick DM note. I would assume that, Bahamut lore is pretty well known, given it's the primary.
Yeah. That's why I told it to you guys.
Okay,
Originally.
I'm just double checking.
No, you're right. It is the primary lore and primary, with the grandiose scale of this.
Okay, just double checking. Sorry to...
No, you're fine. With the grandiose scale of this...
Yeah, that's why I told you.
Seems to be, seems pretty well known.
Okay.
Walking into the main hall of this place, everything is either it's very almost shiny, like almost everything seems to be polished to a T. There are hints of blue and silver all throughout this place. The main hall that you are in has pillars that run the entire length of it. There are pews, that appear to be lining this entire main sanctuary area up to what appears to be a small altar at the top, or a small altar on a slightly raised dais, where it looks as though an individual would speak. There appear to be a few individuals throughout this area, but there appear to be a few individuals throughout this main hall, but nothing. No one seems to be really striking out to the ordinary. It's very eerily quiet in this place.
Oh, okay. Salix, since I have only a vague recollection of being near this place, do we know anyone here that we could talk to?
No, we've never been here before.
Okay. Like I said, vague recollection. Let's go find an acolyte and see if we can't ingratiate ourselves. After all, we're both
My thoughts exactly.
fairly pious creatures in our own way. My piety just occasionally involves liquor.
And, punching people.
I prefer to cut them with my sword. Thank you very much, massive
smite
voice
them.
in the sky.
You smite them with your divine sword. Fantastic.
That's a metaphor.
In more ways than one. Fantastic.
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna softball him in like that.
Looking around, you're able to find a small boy, sandy haired.
Wake up!
I'm trying.
Slap
Not
yourself in the
happening.
face.
Oh God.
Did you slap your face? Is that what that was?
Didn't help.
Well, I mean, it amused us.
Amuses
at
the
least.
viewers at least. Amuses the viewers at least. You find a sandy-haired boy. He's wearing silver and blue robes. Actually, they're straight blue. So they're straight blue robes with silver inlays and silver trimming throughout them. Who appears to be currently slightly in prayer in this area. You wait for him to finish praying. He stands up and turns around and says, "Oh, hello! It's good to see you." And then he notices both of your holy symbols that you are wearing and says, "Oh, fellow a paladin and a cleric. Interesting.
Yes.
Of
Faith.
other men of faith from other religions. What brings you to the Temple of Bahamut? It is glad to see you here."
We were actually looking for some information. Temple of Bahamut is the largest temple in the city and is obviously a
Well, that much is obvious.
seat of religious power. Perhaps we were wondering if you could help us.
Depends on what you're looking for.
Tyrion, would you like to explain?
Well, I have a personal matter that, that can wait. Okay, so we are wondering...
Yes?
Sorry, I was moving. I'm settled. We were wondering if you could perhaps give us some information regarding a personal quest we are on. We are searching for missing children that have been taken by a group called the Noxaran Snakes.
Missing children?
Missing children.
That's surprising. We don't, as far as I'm aware, we've had missing people throughout the city of Eros, but no missing children as of late.
It's an epidemic we
Unusual
found
missing
in the-
people?
Just missing, I mean, as unusual as any missing person gets.
Okay.
It's an occurrence
I mean-
that we've started to notice in the northeastern areas of Zebros.
Yeah, well, except this time it's not just children.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, we haven't had any missing children, at least within Eros, not that I'm aware of. But
Have you heard of this group?
the Najaran Snakes?
The Najaran Snakes.
I've heard of many individuals, but none that seem to fit that. No group around here that seems to fit that description. I mean, there's the Thieves Guild, and they're normally not ones to be trifled with. Normally, we just let them do what we normally just seem to. They seem to just do their own thing, and we seem to not ever cross their paths. So, at least to the best of my knowledge. Najaran Snakes, it's not a name that rings familiar in my ear.
And what is your name?
Alec.
Acolyte Alec?
Acolyte Alec. My parents didn't have the best sense of humor when they sent me here.
I'm sorry. Did you mention if he was human?
Yeah, he's human.
That's what I thought.
Sandy-haired, human boy, blue eyes. Because everyone apparently in my world has blue eyes. I'm not sure why. That's just how it works.
I mean, it's the most common color eye.
Yeah.
So that's realistic.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. Alec, thank you for your help. Are there any healers in your order, specifically those with a more arcane bent?
Or perhaps someone of a higher rank that we could speak to?
Also, yes.
I mean, the best healer that we have is Silver Touched Balar. He's currently in meditation at the moment, but he normally does healings for individuals on the at the beginning of each week, and is able to has done great good throughout the city of Eros, especially recently within the northern slums. A lot of people up there who've either broken hands or broken limbs during a work day, and he's been able to mend them and heal them so that they can continue back to their work they need to do. There was this one time that we even saw him actually somehow regenerate somebody's finger. I think the man was a butcher, and he had actually accidentally cut it off during one of his work days, and his finger, the Silver Touch, was able to grow it back to its full length.
That is impressive healing indeed.
I'd say so. Even the Mages College, when they heard about it, came asking about how this power he was able to do this feat of magic, and he just simply said that Bahamut had blessed him. That's all he needed to say on it.
That is high praise.
This is definitely someone you should probably speak to, I think, Tyrion.
Yes, I would. I find that may be very helpful for both our causes here. Where might we seek him out?
We don't want to interrupt him if you said he was
exactly
busy or meditating, or perhaps we won't want to interrupt him.
Yes, he's meditating at the moment, but I don't think I've requested or have heard your names, and where you might be able to be found. If that is, that way he can at least contact you when he has time.
I am Salix Dren, Cleric of Helm.
I am Tieran Frostdawn, Paladin of Rilifane Ralathiel. And
when Balar has the opportunity to speak with us, you can inquire at the Voxareth Estate in the Rana district.
If we're not there, you may leave a message with any of the staff or house retinue.
If the Silver Touch sees need, can I ask why you're needing to see him for his healing? I mean, if it's just minor cuts and bruises, then I mean those can normally wait until the beginning of the week. But,
our need is somewhat more complicated than a mundane injury.
Okay. Can you elaborate? Otherwise,
if I must, I will. But it is a personal injury done unto me, and it was no minor cut.
Definitely one of magic.
Something more of the mental state? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're trying to get
You
at?
may tell him that this wound was examined by a great paladin, a great healer, who could make little sense of it.
Okay. What's the name of this paladin? Maybe we've heard of him.
It is not relevant.
I'd beg to differ. If you're saying this is a great paladin who is skilled in healing, then and it would at least give credibility to your story. Otherwise, why would the Silver Touched one even have need to talk to you at this point?
I kind of
Very well, if you wish
Go ahead.
for me to lend credibility to my story, I will show you the wound.
At which point you reveal and show the wound to the acolyte.
Okay, well I was gonna say,
unless you're doing something else, go for it.
I was gonna say, might we find somewhere that's not? We're just like kind of like out in the middle of everywhere. The wound's on my chest, and I'm wearing. All right, fair enough. So I take my shirt off. Yeah. In a temple, because that's a thing that's happening now.
Apparently, it's what D&D does.
Oh, God, it almost makes me miss being an altar boy.
You have no idea how hard it's been for me not to make any Ultra Boy.
I was waiting for them. I was waiting for those jokes to come.
Thrawn, I made it so you didn't have to hold it in anymore.
As you're showing this, as you're showing the acolyte this scar, the acolyte actually mutters a few words underneath his breath, and just kind of takes a step back and says, "Interesting. I will pass this along to the Silver Touched, and we will see if he's interested in helping you out and helping."
Thank you very much for your service.
Absolutely. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I'm good for the moment. Salix,
would it be possible to use your library, or is that only for members of the faith here?
Our library is for those of the faith.
I understand. Thank you for your time, Alec.
It was good to meet you, Salix, Thrawn. I look forward to meeting you again. And as well as to you, Tyrion.
Pleasure's all mine.
I just bow slightly and leave.
Right.
After I put my shirt and armor back on.
To go walk for a dang hour down the stairs.
As you make it to the front door, Alec turns to you and says, "Did you walk up all those stairs?"
Yes.
Yes.
You could have taken the lift. Those stairs are for individuals who are seeking enlightenment and not normally traversed.
Oh, where would
could you please point us towards the lift?
Let me lead you to them, and he leads you over to a small entryway, and that is manned by two other what appear to be acolytes. He puts you into not necessarily a cage, but puts you into like this kind of like onto this platform that has very intricate silver and blue metal around it. Alec steps back, closes the door, and says, "We look forward to seeing you again." At which point he snaps his fingers, and the lift begins to lower down this very smooth hatch. After about 2-3 minutes of lowering, you are let out. You are let out into what is, you gather, is underneath, very completely underneath the cathedral. This very wide and very large open area that seems to be bustling with other individuals and other people who are walking around. Some appear to be talking, trading. Some appear to be just heading out. Very, very busy, crowded area. You get the feeling this is where individuals of the faith of Bahamut come to relax, share stories, and potentially talk about different quests and different things that they have been doing within this land.
Kind of lean towards Tyrion. Well, this was much faster.
Agreed. Though, do you feel any more enlightened?
I feel really sweaty and tired.
Once again, agreed. Well, let us make haste back to the estate and we can refresh ourselves.
As you
also, out of character, remind me, guys, to tell you a story later that I swear to God is exactly like that. It involves an insane amount of stairs when an elevator could have been used, and a puzzled but helpful employee.
As you guys begin to make your way out of the Temple District and back through the Yellow Lamp District down to Rana's Grove at the southern portion of the city of Eros.
Is it called Rana's Grove or the Rana District?
It's referred to as both.
Okay.
Within the city, some just depends on what part of the city you're in. If you're within the actual district itself, it's referred to as Rana's Grove. If you're outside, but most people just refer to it the Rana district because they don't live there and they have no attachment to it. You guys make your way back to the Vox Aerith family estate. You walk into the main entry hall, where you find it's the main entry hall, and where you find Clarissa and Brea sitting in the western, sitting within the western, chatting and sitting room, discussing and talking over plans for tomorrow's practical exam.
Okay. So
Mural and Karma do not appear to be there yet.
So tomorrow, Clarissa and Brea have another test. We made no significant progress towards finding the information that we need. So perhaps we need to reevaluate our course of action.
Yeah, I mean, right now our plan A is sitting around and waiting for a summons that may not even come.
Yep.
So I agree with that completely.
As you guys are walking to Brea and or walking to the rest of the area, or to where Brea and Clarissa are sitting, Mural and Karma walk in behind you guys.
How did it go in the gardens?
Not well. If we want help, it's going to cost us a lot. So I was inquiring
Sarah and I
on
were
some
just discussing
scrying.
about what we need to do, since today was generally idling towards our main goal.
Okay, idling for you. Some of us did something.
What we saw, you were very impressive.
Yeah,
What?
it was
And
very
a little scary.
impressive, Clarissa,
What
but
happened?
There was magic. There was fire. Yeah. Ran into an old friend, in air quotes, of mine. That was different.
Please
Clarissa,
tell me
did you-
that the fire was not around your friend.
No. I wanted to almost, in air quotes again, set Tyrion on fire, but that didn't quite work out. But the rest of my performance went rather well.
Performance.
Yeah, turns out the first trial to be accepted for study at the Mages College is a show of your individualistic use of magic.
I didn't know you were interested in joining the Mages College. That's interesting.
Well, I'm here, and Maya informed me that the only way I will have access to their resources in their library is to pass their exams and join their association. And I suppose I could do with the occasional class. After all, one can only get better.
Well, I wish you luck.
Why, thank you.
I pat Clarissa on the head and say, "Good job."
You elves are too tall. Well,
Okay, so we're all back.
Yep, everyone's back. What is the course of action you guys
Okay,
are
so-
looking to do?
plans for tomorrow. Clarissa
Something
and Brea are going to go to the college and do their tests. Is there anything else that we can do? Is Eros on the river?
It is not.
Is there a docks?
Nope.
There's not? Okay.
I might suggest that perhaps Tyrion, as he is the most obviously martial of us, go and seek out a knightly order or a knightly house or something, some kind of military force in the city. I imagine there must be an order of knights here. Humans are rather fond of their knights.
Mhm.
They might
First,
be
I
able to
come from a
give us
order
some.
of soldiers.
Yeah, I would imagine that the two of us walking around town is fairly intimidating.
That depends on if you're wearing your shirt or not. That was out of character because I didn't know you stripped naked in the middle of a temple.
That's fine. I can be intimidating while shirtless, trust me. Honestly, I think that yes, there is certainly some knightly order, but I'm not sure that won't just be the same wild goose chase. We've come up with no information from some very powerful groups within the city.
The Knightly Order would be the dragon spawn. Brea pipes up. They're the ones that are wearing the red cloaks and the giant flame on their breastplate. They're normally the ones who would, but as Tyrion mentioned, we're no closer to finding any of these children or what they are planning on doing, or what is planning on happening at this point.
However, unless we have an alternative plan, I'm more than willing to try it.
Karma, is there anything you can do to contact the Thieves Guild, or any sort of information we can get?
I could return to the bar. I want to give them some time, though. Sometimes with these type of situations, it's best to give them their space and not push them for information and let them come to you.
Is there anything we could do to perhaps ingratiate you with them?
We haven't talked to Brea's mom at all, have we?
Yeah,
We didn't really talk to her.
Oh, okay. Right, okay, this was covered. Gotcha.
I mean, you can go talk to her if you
moving
want
on.
to.
If it was done, I was just asking a question because
It wasn't really done. It was more that Brea talked to her mom, and then she kind of shepherded you guys off.
Yeah.
Right. Did Brea talk to her mother about children?
Not really. She seems sort of in a state of declining dementia.
Gotcha. All right, moving on. I'm up to date. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Good to have you informed.
I think the best course of action as to the guild is to wait a day. If I don't hear anything back tomorrow, then I could return to where I met them and see if I can find anything out further.
Game. Okay, so we're waiting for three things. Well, Brea's and Clarissa's.
That's happening.
That's active. Is there anything else that we can do?
The only other thing would be if you wanted to try to get a council with the defense minister, but I don't see how I would have any pull in this at all.
So that doesn't sound like something that could actually really happen.
Clarissa might.
Yeah, but I'm otherwise committed.
Yeah, she's otherwise engaged right now.
And Brea, you said that that you're doubtful as to whether or not you could get us an audience?
I doubt that I'd be able to get you an audience with him. I can always try, but I highly doubt that he'd see me.
Well, I can't imagine the defense minister has any information that the Knightly Order wouldn't have.
Perhaps we speak with whatever organization is in charge of keeping order in this city.
That would be the Dragon Spawn.
That would be the Dragon Spawn.
The Dragons... What?
Clarissa
Dragon Spawn.
Clarissa stickers a little at spawn in the name.
And
humans with their ridiculous names.
We can tell them about the bodies that we found just a few days out. Perhaps they know of other similar incidents.
Okay.
Right. So.
Oh yeah, we did find all those bodies. Jesus Christ, that was like.
And the strange omen raven.
That we asked inappropriate question to? Yes, I remember.
What would you have asked, Clarissa?
I don't know, something more. Well, if we're gonna go esoteric, right?
I think we can let this matter lie in the past.
How about what is the meaning of life? Or will Tyrion...
Clarissa, it's all good. We asked what we needed to know at the time.
As the friendly banter and Clarissa's incessant raging of humans and other beings that are not gnomes continues on through the rest of the evening. If there's anything that you guys would like to do for the night
I'm going
before you head off to bed?
Proceed outside and do my things outside.
Yep.
And probably stay up there tonight.
If possible, I'd like to speak privately with Clarissa.
Yep.
Yeah,
go for it.
Sure.
Where are we?
Still inside, or just within the Vox Earth family grounds at this point. So.
Ursa, can I speak with you, please?
Yeah, sure. What's up, Priesty?
What have I done to offend you?
Oh, that I'm just jeering you. You humans take everything so seriously.
Ever since our time on the Sphinx, since we left the library, every time I speak, you've been terse or disrespectful or just various negative attitudes toward me. I thought we were friendly, but I haven't seen any sort of that behavior since that time.
No, you completely misunderstand me, Priesty. You're used probably to people taking you all seriously and calling you boss man because you have a god, in air quotes, that you take orders from. But you see, in Gnomish society, things are rather different, right? If I didn't like you, I would be treating you with utmost respect and distance and calling you sir and all sorts of other business like that. If I'm jeering at you a little bit, it's just because I like you.
Uh-huh.
You can ask any gnome for verification.
What?
It's just how we are. You can ask any other gnome. If you want to talk to an especially grumpy gnome, who you would probably get along with, I can introduce you to my childhood friend in Valeria.
Why would I get along with a particularly grumpy gnome?
Well, you're a particularly grumpy human, so, you know.
I am?
You're just always so stern and serious and blah, 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 blah. Lighten up a little. Laugh, you know?
Recall when I told you the story that not 2 years ago, everyone that I've ever known in the city that I grew up in was killed?
That is the best reason to laugh that there is. She looks somewhat more serious than you're used to her looking. Life is short, especially for those of us who are not pure-blooded tyranny elfies. You have to enjoy every second of it that you can, you know. And laughing in the face of tragedy is the best way to show the world that you're still here and you are going to enjoy your life, no matter what it throws at you.
Suppose I'll think about this. Still, you also, even if this is your way of showing friendliness, as you say, why is it that you mock my Lord Helm, but not Lord Rilliphane?
Well, look, let's be honest. It's hard to take a tree all that seriously. Am I right? See? There's a laugh. I got him to laugh. I don't know. Maybe it's because he doesn't seem quite so overly religious as you do. It's easy to make fun of religion, I admit. Especially for gnomes who, as I've said, our society is known for its piety. We really don't have deities to speak of besides a few adherents to the dwarf gods, but there's not all that many of them.
We'll think about this. Well, good luck on your preparations for tomorrow.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So, as the rest of you begin to drift off to sleep, and all right.
Guys, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Sorry, I gotta step away for a second.
Okay. As you're sleeping, let me see who I need for a mural to make a. I think it's a Constitution check. No, it's just a straight perception check. Is what it is.
Straight perception? Would that be with disadvantage?
It'll be with disadvantage since you are sleeping.
Oh, that's good. I got a 15 and a 16. I don't know my modifiers. That's what? Perception?
Yeah, perception.
Oh, that's a nat 20. Perception's 5.
Fuck is your perception?
Perception's 5, man.
God.
I am proficient in perception.
You're... That's like, what, +2? But you got, like...
+5. I have 3 wisdom.
Good lord. God, man.
Wisdom scores 3 +2 on the...
Jesus. Alright, so, as you're sleeping, and as you're sleeping out in the gardens, you are awoken by what you hear as like rustling sounds and what almost sound like foot drops and foot drops and like footfalls through the garden itself. You wake up. Are you in any specific form right now or not?
Black Panther, actually.
So, you wake up, you cock your head to the side, kind of listening, and you hear what you think are voices coming from off, or coming, like, you hear like a single voice that seems to be talking, and then stopping, and then talking again, and then stopping. You can't quite make out what it's saying, but you swear you can hear you hear something coming from the direction of the fountain that is currently in the middle of this in the middle of the gardens in the backyard.
I would like to go stealth on that and check to see what this is.
Alright, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
I need to figure out the stealth modifier is for the Panther because it's different than what my actual stealth is. Panther. Panther is increase stealth by 6. And that would be 18.
Alright. Alright. So, as you approach where you know the fountain is, you're able to hear the gurgling of rushing water. As you get closer and closer, you stop hearing. You hear the talking continue for a second, and then it goes quiet. As you gain view of the fountain, you look at it and you see a very large shape standing over the fountain, looking directly down into the water. You hear almost what appears to be kind of like a lapping sound a little bit. It's on all fours. It appears to have kind of feathers, from what you can tell, that are currently and it's currently has its head directly over the fountain, or the base pool of the fountain.
Seriously, what the fuck happened? I left for 3 minutes.
What the hell is this thing? Would I know what this thing is?
You would make a history check. See if you know what this is.
History? Oh God, yeah. You're gonna hate me with these checks, man. That's a 21.
Good God. I mean, you're a fucking druid, so that makes sense. Yeah. So as you're looking at this thing, you recognize it. Its head stretches up, and you see its head stretches up and turns back and looks back directly at you, and you see that it has 2 very dark black eyes and 1 large beak protruding from the front of its head. Currently standing in front of you, looking down into was looking down into the fountain, now looking back directly at you, is a large owlbear that is currently
holy crap.
It's currently looking at you at the moment.
And if I'm not mistaken, I remember that these animals are friendly if not provoked.
It's what you think you know.
Shit.
That's comforting.
I'm gonna slowly back away and go back towards the house.
Alright, do as such. You're able to make it back towards the house. As you're crouching back to the house, you, out of the corner of your eye, see a small shadow dart back inside the house at this point.
Small shadow.
No more than 3-4 feet tall.
I'm going to go over there then instead.
As you crouch and are able to slink inside the back house, slink inside the back of the house, the entire place is covered in shadows. You can't really, you can't make out any movement, anything else. A voice speaks up from straight off to your right hand side as you're crouching around the same room that Brea's mother was found in, that says, "The moon is quite bright tonight, wouldn't you say?" I don't expect you to answer me. You're a giant cat. Cat. My stars are quite pretty tonight. As you glance off to your right-hand side, you see Liliana still sitting in the chair that she was originally sitting in when you arrived.
My goodness, her perception must be freaking high. I will approach her and then shapeshift.
Yeah, as you do, you approach her and shapeshift back into Emiro.
And you mentioned that it is a very beautiful night, and
that it is. Right like the night that Tranbriar met me.
Tranbriar? Would that be your husband?
Husband.
Or lover, or friend, or...
Haven't seen him in a long time.
Oh.
Haven't seen anyone in a long time. Children went missing.
Children?
Last week. Eka was in a fret. Rat. Cat. Smat. He came back, though. Later that night.
Do you know anything of this at all, that besides...
They came back. They were hiding. Like little kids do. Hide and seek. Geek. Sleek. Geek. Sleep. At which point her head kind of lolls off to one side and appears to be just kind of resting on the side of the chair at this point in time.
So I'm guessing she fell back asleep again.
You can check.
If
you want to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at her. I'm not gonna touch her. I'm just gonna look at her.
Her eyes are still open. Her head's just kind of lolled off to the side at this point. I see you met Jace earlier tonight. Jack and Jackie do enjoy him so.
Chase.
Ko, Smo, Joe, Lo. At which point there is a large that erupts from her mouth.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna keep listening.
Over the next half hour to 20 minutes, you continue to hear the snore, but you also hear her seem to say just very odd and random things. Some things about Eka being something about Eka being a thief in the night and stealing the flatware to Maximus, and how how he never leaves the house and should get some sunlight, and a bunch of just random things like that, like a bunch of random things. How the tea is too cold, the air is too warm, different things along those lines is what you hear.
Like her self-conscious is talking.
Sort of, yeah.
I will. I'll take note of what she said, and I will proceed to go just outside of her, just outside of the area where she is, and go back to just sitting watch.
All right.
Because at that point, I should have enough sleep for the next day.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. All right. So let's see if anything. The rest of the night passes without incursion. You all wake up and are brought to consciousness. As the sun begins to rise, you all go to the dining. You all end up heading to the dining area. You're greeted, but once again, by that fresh, familiar, warm and yummy smell of cooking food, different cooking meats and good breads. You walk into the main dining area that you had breakfast in last time. As the same time, as you guys are walking in, Jacqueline and Jackson and Eka and Sinclair are walking out. And as Eka walks out the main door, she turns around and says, "Jace, come on, need to leave. Guests are coming in." And as she leaves, you hear this doom, doom, doom walking behind her, and walking out of the door to the main dining room is this fairly large-size owlbear that is following after Eka, and begins walking down the hallway after Eka.
Holy crap, owlbear!
Walks after Eka and walks after Jackson and Jacqueline.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I was in the garden drinking from the fountain last night. So
they have a pet owlbear?
Yeah. Really kind, just don't provoke it. As far as I remember, I don't really remember much. So,
aren't they? They typically are known to be, aggressive and ferocious, aren't they?
You want to make a nature? If people want to make nature checks, or
I will do a nature check just to double check, because I was in a really
definitely
spot last night.
I just it isn't named Fluffy.
Natural 20.
I got a 19 with a +5.
Only roll of the night. Natural 20.
An 8.
The elves of your group know that owlbears, while normally can be very deadly forces, they are typically fairly docile creatures as long as you don't mess with them, as long as you don't provoke them. Amiral, you know for sure that as you were living within the Elven realm itself, that your kind would actually normally ask, or would actually normally invite the owlbears to actually den and actually make camp and bed beneath the trees and within within the main areas of your cities, as how the Elven how the Elven structure and architecture is. That owlbears would normally come in. A lot of elves wouldn't necessarily adopt them as pets, but they would show them hospitality, and the owlbears were free to come and go as they pleased. Normally, there was a pretty good rapport with them. They weren't normally there was never really any scruffles, apart from occasionally some other animal would come in, and the owlbear would oftentimes defend its home or its young that was there.
Pretty much, they're very docile, less provoked, as I said before.
Oh.
We have nothing to fear from this creature.
But is anybody else besides us in the room currently?
Nope, that's just all you guys.
I'm just gonna say below my breath towards Tyrion that I was hearing some strange things with I'm trying to think whatever her name is. the mother of the household,
Liliana.
Liliana, was speaking some gibberish last night when I seen a shadow enter the house as well. She was speaking in rhymes and rhythm. I couldn't make really much fathom of it, and she ended up messaging or saying stuff about how Eka is like a thief of the night, and children playing and doing their things.
Can I hear this?
Yeah, you can hear it.
Maximus never leaves the house, and he should get out more often, and how the tea is cold, and it was just constant, like every so often she would say these things, but it wasn't enough to take real note and stature over.
Yeah, Karma, you can hear this.
So, Amiral, she was talking in rhymes?
Well, it seemed like she was sleeping as well. Like every so often she would let off a snore, and it just didn't seem right.
Perhaps there's a link between this and the crow.
Possibly, but I can't explain the shadow, though. Like, I don't know what entered the household before I got there, because it was pretty dark last night.
Perhaps she's, I don't know, Salix or Tyrion. I don't know anything about this very much, only tales, but perhaps is there a possibility of a possession between some sort of a malevolent creature that is causing this abnormal aging and obviously the rhythmic speech?
That is not really my area of speciality.
Is there a possibility, though?
I imagine
It's possible, but I mean, if she's been looked over by the most powerful magic users in the city and they haven't detected anything.
Well, you said she mentioned something about missing children.
Yeah, and I found that very weird.
Well, she's the only one in the city that has.
Sure enough.
So I think perhaps we should speak to Brea and see if she wouldn't be above trying to see if her mother knows anything more, since that is literally the only person who's even shown. And that's like crazy gibberish, but it's the closest we've come to confirmation that children are missing from here as well, or that people know about them.
But it was more in rhyme, and I just couldn't make any sense of it besides just bits of words here and there that she was able to stammer together. But she seemed like she was fully like awake but still sleeping. It was just, I have no clue.
Sounds like, and this is not my area of expertise, but it sounds like something that if it was possessing her, she might be able to get something out of her while it wasn't in control, maybe while it was sleeping.
Well, that seems like a bit of a leap, but then again, we've already encountered someone who can move using shadows, so I'm not willing to rule it out.
Alright, then let's speak to her. To Brea.
Yep, where is she? Probably eating breakfast.
Yep, as you walk into the dining room, you find Brea sitting there eating. She seems to be more kind of just playing with her food, kind of thinking over what's going to be about the rest of the day.
Oh, okay.
Glad to see you're all awake again. Hope your rest was restful and you were able to... You're ready for the rest of... I'm sorry, my nerves have gotten quite the better of me as of late.
Clarissa is talking with her mouth full of breakfast pastry.
Clarissa, you might want to try chewing your food before before speaking.
Oh, sorry. These pastries are amazing. As she reaches out and grabs another scone. Anyway, don't be nervous. You'll have me beside you today. Everything will go swimmingly.
That's why I'm nervous.
Whoa.
Be offended by that.
Shots fired.
We are both relatively unproven mages in front of the college, and you've even had schooling, and you said that your magic still is unpredictable, whereas mine is... I don't even know what could happen with it, but I just don't know.
That might an edge, though. Being unpredictable is not always a bad thing. And besides, we survived the Shadowfell. How many of those super serious mages can say they did that? I'm willing to bet not many of them.
Being unpredictable is not always a bad thing, and yet you're trying to make yourself more predictable by reducing your magic's unpredictability. That's what you've seemed to be hinting at this entire time.
Yes, but being unpredictable in the sense that you can accidentally set yourself on fire is bad. Being unpredictable in the sense that they're expecting a firebolt and you, I don't know, make the ceiling collapse on their head, yeah, that's good, yes.
I guess. Well, eat up and enjoy the breakfast. I'll be tending to Mother this morning. Maximus has other duties that he has to perform today, so I'll be taking care of Mother this morning before we get ready to head out to our next exam.
Let me know when you're ready. I should like to get there a little early so we can maybe try to get an idea of what we'll be facing and prepare for it.
Okay. And Brea begins to stand up and leave. Begins to leave.
Kieran?
You guys want to talk to her about anything before she leaves the room or not?
So we're not getting a chance to speak to...
Like, she's standing up. She's in the process of standing up. That's why I'm asking.
Right, no, I'm sorry. Emiral, you were the one that actually spoke with Brea's mother. Perhaps you should,
I approached Brea and mentioned that I seen some things happen during the night around the yard.
What sort of things have you seen happen, or what did you see happen?
I was awoken by an owlbear drinking from the fountain.
That would have been Jace. He tends to, just kind of wander around the yards and around the grounds often enough. You just met him, I think. Walked out the door as you were walking in.
Oh, that's Jace. Okay, I wasn't sure. I heard some things. I proceeded to go back.
Yeah, he's been living here ever since I was a child, and Jackson and Jacqueline have taken quite a liking to him, so he follows them everywhere.
I was just gonna mention, and during that, I wasn't sure what to do because I didn't know if it was friend or foe. I proceeded to go back towards the house and seen a shadow, blur into the side of the house. I went to go and investigate, and your mother was there, asleep but yet talking.
A shadow entered the house last night?
It was a blur. I couldn't see much. It was about 3 to 4 feet, roughly. It was just enough to catch a glimpse, but I couldn't make out any definite shape. I went to go investigate. I couldn't see anything there.
Interesting. I'll check with Max and see if there's anything that he's aware of, but he's normally awake and keeps some form of vigilant eye, but I'll check with him.
And I came across the side there, and your mother ended up speaking towards me in rhymes and riddles and mentioning stuff about the household and children.
She tends to do that. I mean, children not normally, but she was talking about the twins, then there are quite a lot of us that she's born, so.
It seemed like a rhyme between what we're looking for and what your family as well. It was really different.
So what are you asking for then?
I was just reporting it to you because I didn't know what else to mention.
Well, it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. Mother seems to always has something weird to say. You saw that the first time we got here.
Yes, but
Can we hear this conversation?
Yeah, you guys can absolutely hear this conversation.
All right, so I'm gonna step up and say, well, Brea, this is the first indication that we've heard from anyone anywhere in the entire city about what we're looking for, and you can't deny that the way that she was speaking, or the way that Emerald claimed she was speaking last night, is sounds very much like what we heard from the Raven on our way here to the city. I mean, can we just try speaking to your mother?
I mean, you can try speaking to her. I'm not sure what good it'll do, though, but you can try speaking to her.
Okay. But the weird thing was she was completely asleep when she was saying these things. Like
that's That is bizarre.
Yeah.
I actually have an idea about that. I'm not sure if we should try it before we go about our business today, though.
Salix.
Well, tell us your idea and we'll make a decision.
Perhaps her malady is more physical than mental, yes? So maybe we'll be able to understand her better if I use message to communicate directly with her mind.
I would use that after you guys have done your business.
Yeah, I would say we
'Cause
take slow steps here.
I would
Definitely.
rather not have something happen like we did in the library.
It's definitely worth a chance, but I was going to say, Salix, why don't you use your truth spell, and let's give that a shot. And specifically try to address the entity that approached us on the road. Just to try and confirm whether or not that is the same entity.
But I would prefer to have Freya's word on this, if it's okay or not. I thought to bring it up. I'm very caring for friends, so.
Well, it's as much as I want her to be well and her to be okay. She's already been examined by many of the spellcasters here in the city, and
So
even
what's
the
one
Silver
more-
Touch. What was that? Sorry.
So what's one more examination?
If it was up to me, I'd say yes, but my father is the one who
Okay, so that's
who's responsible for my mother's well-being, and
okay.
if there was anything that, you know what, do it. My father is in Plona, and he's not here taking care of my mother. It's my job at the moment.
Speaking of,
Yeah, we will do our best not to
find
exacerbate
out
her
what is wrong with her.
discomfort.
and speaking of your father, I believe that she also mentioned him as well, not really looking after her. It was really broken up, but that's what it pretty much mentioned.
Interesting. Well,
It was.
do you want to
really
talk to
weird.
her now, or should we do it, or do you want to talk to her later on?
How much time do we have before we have to leave for your examination?
Yeah.
A few hours at most, from what I gather, but
Before we have to leave.
before we have to leave, probably an hour or two
Okay.
before we need to leave.
Probably
enough
more
for you to eat, enough for you to eat breakfast, but about it.
Yeah, this can wait until we get back, guys. I'm not going to strain myself magically before we take this very important examination.
And
Okay,
you guys need to
so
be in the right train of
If
line.
there's
At which point there's a knock at the door, and Maximus walks in and says, Master Karma, there has been a letter delivered for you.
Thank you, Max. Or Maximus. Can I call you Max?
No,
Very well, Maximus. Thank you for the letter.
I'm here to serve. At which point Brea says, as Maximus turns around and begins walking up the road, Brea says, Bye, Max! At which point he stops. He stops. You see his entire body tense for a second. He takes a deep... There's a slow exhale of breath that you hear, and he just continues to walk.
I'm going to say, hey, Maximus. I'm going to toss him a gold coin. Ping.
At which point he it bounces off of his as you say Maximus, he turns around and kind of bounces off his chest. You gotta have to fumble for it. It's like thank you, sir. Places it in his pocket. I think that drops you down to like 8. I think.
No, right now, yeah. And I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look to Bray after that and kind of give a little smirk.
Bray is looking at it, kind of snickering, and he only lets the children call him Max. And even as we grow older, we tend to a lot of us have tended to start calling him Maximus, but I've always preferred calling him Max. It's more personal to me.
That's up to you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so if we're going to do some sort of magical investigation here, we kind of we pool our resources. I can cast.
So from what you can tell, if you're doing the magical stuff before you leave for the exam, you'll have to forego breakfast.
Clarissa does not want any part of that. She is going to eat breakfast no matter what the rest of you do.
If you are wanting to do it afterward, you'd be able to eat breakfast and be ready to eat and fully ready to go. So it's however you guys want to do it.
What do we think? Do you have time to deal with this later?
I would say that we'll deal with this after the exam. I understand from what I've heard that it's rather important. So let's let Brea and Clarissa take their best shot at it, and we can either convene tomorrow to discuss with Brea's mother, or we can do it later today if the exam goes well.
All right.
Is Brea still in the room?
Yeah, she is still in the room. Yeah.
I'll approach her and just quietly mutter, like, "I'm sorry for mentioning this. I thought it would be of importance to you to know."
Alright, after eating breakfast, I'm gonna let whoever the head, the butler guy.
Maximus,
thank you. Concierge, sorry, that's the fancy word I was looking for. I knew his name.
Manservant.
That's less fancy. The concierge, I'm gonna ask Maximus that if a message comes from the Temple of Bahamut to send someone to the Mages College so they can inform us, so we're not potentially wasting any time.
By the way, I wanted to read that letter right away. Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
That's all. I just wanted to throw that out there before we continue on.
Does the letter contain anything time sensitive?
I'm getting there. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay. So the letter says this in Thieves' Cant. Says that in Thieves' Cant.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to tell the group. All right. The note says that I should come alone in 2 hours. So, Clarissa, good luck on your exams. If you don't hear from me, I'm going to tell them how I got to that bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to mention the Giant's Gullet. Is that the same bar?
So, memory serves, it is the same bar.
Okay.
It is the same place that you originally were at.
Okay, so I'm going to tell them how I got there. I'm going to say that's the Giant's Gullet. This note wants me to go there. It specifically says for me to come alone. I'm going to go there alone. Go ahead, Amiral.
That's a good idea.
Just let me think of something here. Continue with what you're doing.
Yes, Clarissa?
Are you sure that's a good idea to go alone? We went through great lengths in Loudwater to make sure you weren't alone in a similar situation.
I can handle myself. I feel good in this situation.
Well, all right, if you're sure.
My entire life has been spent on the road in situations exactly like this. I can escape if nothing else.
Well, do try not to die. It would be a shame to lose the only tiefling friend I have.
good luck and don't get killed.
I won't.
All right, so Karma takes after breakfast. Karma takes his leave. The rest of you begin walking in the direction of the Mages College.
And before Karma leaves, I'm going to cast Protection from Poison on him. If that's a thing.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how long it works.
I want to double check. Yeah, I wanted to double
That's
check.
for an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's protection from poison. Yeah, so you have protection from poison then. Alright. So, alright, so as Clarissa walks, as the rest of you make your way back towards the Mages College, we're going to follow Karma to start. Karma, you make your way back through the different district, through the rest of Rana's Grove, continuing down and into the graveyard district of this town to back to the same bar that you originally found that had the same symbol on the outside that says "Enter." And thieves that has "Enter" and thieves can't. You currently make your way to the outside of it.
All right, I'm gonna go inside.
All right. As you walk inside. As you walk inside, you look around, and there appears to be nobody here. There's the there's the red-skinned tiefling barmaid behind the bar itself. Appears to be no one else. She currently just sitting there, leaning against the bar, cleaning a dirty dish by the look of it.
Okay. I'm also, just for clarification, I'm going to stay in human mode.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
And I'm going to go up to her, and I'm just going to say, I apologize, I never got your name yesterday.
And what makes you think I'd give you my name?
Oh, you don't need to if you don't want to. Just asking. Just be courteous. May I have a pint of mead?
You may. She walks over, pours a pint of mead, and hands it off to you.
How much?
For you, no charge.
Really? May I ask why?
It's an apology.
Very well. And I must apologize for...
At which point, as you do, I need you to make a perception check.
Perception. 9.
As you lift up the drink and you say, an apology for what? There is a whooshing sound from behind you. You look up and you feel a dull thud smack into your temple. The back end of a blade hits, or not the back end of a blade, the hilt of a dagger hits your temple, and deals 32 of 36 points of bludgeoning damage to you, rendering you unconscious, I believe.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh my.
You crumple to the ground, and as you are brought to consciousness, you don't know how much time has passed. You do not know where you are at. You look down, and you find that your hands are currently chained, actually, to a chair that you are currently now sitting in. Your ankles are also currently chained to the same chair. Your tail has been let out and is currently also chained up very intricately to a chain to the back of the wall. A bag is removed from your head, and standing in front of you is the same red-skinned tiefling that's with the same white eyes that you normally have, that looks down at you and says, at last we meet, brother. And that is where we will end this tonight's session.
All right. Cool.
Sounds good.
Good. For once, I'm not the one tied up.
Bow chicka bow wow.
Guys, I have a problem with tying our characters up. I apologize.
Problem or fetish?
I mean,
sometimes I just don't know.
Never know.
Sometimes
never
I
know.
just can't tell.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe I don't want you to know.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't even heard my Sam voice yet. I didn't even record it either last week, so...
No, I did not hear your Sam voice.
My impersonation of Gilmore. So, that's where we will leave off tonight. Brea and Clarissa and the rest of the team is walking off to the Magic College for their second practical exam. Karma has currently just been abducted, or is currently knocked out by supposedly the Thieves Guild. The red-skinned tiefling in front of him saying simply, "Glad to finally meet you, brother." Fantastic. And this is where we leave off for the evening. If you guys would like to RP, you can do RP from either the evening beforehand, or you guys can do it on your on your walk to the Mages College this evening.
Sounds fun.
For the rest of this week, if RP is still a thing you guys are wanting to do in chat. Otherwise, we will just pick up right there where we left off next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well,
trying to get us out of here at a solid time of the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that works.
And also a good, another good RP session. I'm sorry, you guys, you keep avoiding the conflict portions. It is like they're there, you're just not finding them. So.
We're just so diplomatic.
You're trying.
Well,
you're trying.
I would have 1v1'd an owlbear if anything.
That would have been funny as hell.
Can you tell us what encounters we avoided, or do you want to say?
I can't tell you because they're out there.
It's not like we've gone anywhere.
It's things that you can still find. You just haven't found them yet. With the amount of XP, I can just tell you guys are all going to level up this week. So
yes.
you guys will be at the next level.
What about the people that are the 5 experience points off?
Same thing. You will still all be leveled up. Everyone should level up so just everyone plan on making your character leveled up after this week's RP, because once again you guys are fantastic at role playing. I love watching it. Excited to see where we go for continuing on.
So totally outside of character, can you tell me how long I have been asleep?
You have no clue.
Well, I'm saying entirely outside of character.
You have no clue.
Because I specifically told them where to find me, and
you have no clue. That's all I'm telling you.
You're now counting on one of us to remember that.
And the reason why I was been outside has been to watch your back. Is pretty much.
Yeah. Thieves Guild isn't the type of people you want to have somebody watching your back anyway, especially when the note says "come alone." So, I'll handle it. I feel good.
That's what he says, and gets knocked out.
This is not the first time that something like this happened to Karma. Let's just leave it there.
I'm still waiting for the stories, dude.
Yep.
650 experience tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just because it was fantastic RP, and you guys have been doing solid with that for the past couple weeks. So I'm sorry that the encounters have not been popping up. So
that means we're doing.
It's okay. The next city we go to is going to be like fucking Monster Arena mode style or something.
You will find out. All right. So we'll pick up there next week. We'll probably start with Clarissa's and Brea's practical exam next week.
That sounds good.
So whoever's watching...
Let the karma suspense build, I like that.
Let the karma suspense build, and that way... so we'll let that get taken care of first next week, and then we will progress from there as things begin to...
This next level gives us access to some new spells, so some of which require moneyed material components. Can we just talk to you and buy those, or should we do that?
Yeah, you can talk to me, and we can work on buying those things, and we can work that into. I can work that into next, like just where.
I know some of us. I think myself and maybe Tyrion have access to our resurrection spell that requires expensive stuff.
Yeah, I have to look into my.
Yeah, I'll work that into next session.
If that's true, I'm really glad I didn't buy that.
I'll work the 6th level. I'll work the 6th level stuff into what you guys need to buy for next session. Like you guys, I can tell you what you need to buy, or if you guys are looking it up and saying I want to buy this, I can say okay, during this time you guys go out and spend that, and that will just cover that. We can do that this week as well. So
okay, and then one more question since everyone's here, and they can ask really quick and answer really fast. For spells that are kind of team based, could we perhaps buy those reagents from the brothel bag? For example, the expensive diamonds used to resurrect dead people?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Agreed.
We definitely want a few resurrections available.
Just in case. It's better to be safe than sorry.
And if anyone's caught up on Critical Role, oh good god.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are your resurrections going to be that tough?
That will be. I was looking over Matt's rules for resurrections, and
man.
that will be the format I will be following. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
If
God.
if we ever come into contact with that, so that I will be using Matt's.
It's
format
all going to be
for-
K. We're going to be fine.
Well, yeah, and if it keeps going like this, it's not like we're gonna talk ourselves to death. Well, Karma might.
Man, you should have heard him last week.
Last week was interesting.
Is that up on YouTube at all?
No, I didn't record last week.
Okay, yeah, I thought that's what you said.
Because it was just us talking, and it was a lot of kind of like what tonight was. Also, for streaming things, I'm trying to figure out a way to do like voice pictures like with Skype, so I can make it bigger, so that I can have like a specific area of the screen that is like it shows who's talking when they're talking, like if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Like-
got you.
Like the first time we ever did this, like the pictures were ginormous, and I could like easily post that up, and like people were like, "Oh, that person's talking. Oh, now this person's talking." So, if you want to change like your Skype like picture to like what like a character drawing of what you visualized yourself as looking like, that could work, and that could work well. If not, cool. I'm trying to figure out a different streaming format for this, but that's stuff on my end that I don't really need to worry about. And I'm hopefully next week going to have the music coming through Skype, because I have some baller-ass music going tonight, and I really want to share that with you guys.
Does my picture show up?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So, apart from that, though, good session tonight, guys. You did fantastic.